All right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
Hello!
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the Cool Ben Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody's tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and log you with some sirloin bites.
Happy Monday, everybody. What's going on? Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with you. Trev, can you bump me up a little bit more? Let's turn those headphones. Oh, yeah. That's real nice.
Check, test.
Lieutenant Eric, how are you?
Yeah, well, how about that intro, hey?
How about that new
Hey.
intro? How about the new intro? You guys see that?
However you were feeling, just ratchet it up another 5
Did you
points
see that
with
new
the
intro? We're gonna bring that intro
Yeah,
back,
exactly.
and we're gonna take a look at this thing one more time. YouTube, Trev, brilliant.
Right.
Trev, load that thing back up here. We're gonna take another look at this thing. Look at this new intro. Here we go. Let's take one more look at it. Here we go. All right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Oh, is that not beautiful?
Johnny Alberta says trippy on the
Yeah.
SD chat. A little bit, maybe.
I mean, that looks like that's high-end production. Ladies and gentlemen, a conch for YouTube, Trev.
Yeah.
Put that together. What a nice way to get the show going. And it's not the only show that we have an intro for now. It's come together really nicely. Trev's been working hard on that stuff. It looks good. It looks real nice.
Polished.
It looks polished, exactly. It looks polished.
The first day on the iHeartRadio
Oh,
official, right?
that
Official.
is true, too.
Monday, February 26th.
Yes, mark it down. February 26th, Surveyor Brett, put it in your phone somewhere. February 26th, 2024 was the day that we finally ended up taking over all of these streaming platforms, which was great. Right when we launched, it was edmontonsportstalk.com. You can listen on our audio player, and you can watch on YouTube. A few months in, managed to track down and trick the folks at TuneIn to allowing us on the TuneIn app as well, which is extremely convenient for many of you. And now we are also on the iHeartRadio app, which same thing, download, free, listen. You'll get like a commercial to start or whatever, and then straight into the content. So that's nice. As part of that deal with iHeart through Bell, if you can believe it, we got a little bit of a partnership going on with 100.3 The Bear now too. You will hear me this morning with Yuk and McCord, and we should have those guys pop in on the Hangout every once in a while, which should be a lot of fun as well.
Just like old times, hey?
Just like old times. Just like old times. And actually, the Bear is going to be advertising on our station, which is just the ultimate plot twist that nobody saw coming.
But as was discussed last week, no yap, correct?
No yap.
No yap.
Yeah, no yap. That was.
I think that was one of the
like,
main...
What do you think? What do you think about Aaron the Yap? I said, "You ridiculous? It was canceled years ago."
It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah. So anyway, we got a jam-packed show for you. We are excited to be on iHeart. It's just another way for people to consume our content. Millions and millions and millions and millions of people in the country have iHeartRadio. Now we are on it. Just go to iHeartRadio and search Edmonton Sports Talk. Will pop up, and you can follow us over there. And it's super easy. I mean, this is one of the things that we've been talking about since the very beginning. It's 2024. My phone just connects right to my vehicle as soon as I log in, and we're good to go.
As long as you don't have your keys in there.
Man, so how about this?
I don't know. When you told me this, my heart springs up into my throat, then it drops down into my stomach because that's glad you're at home for this one.
Full-blown panic. Full-blown panic for me this morning. I go out. Obviously, it's going to take. I gave myself some extra time today.
Sure, yeah.
As a mature adult, I wanted to get out. Wanted to scrape off the windows, clear everything off. Didn't have time to shovel. Obviously, I could have got up earlier, but it's going to be a big shovel. I'll have to get to that later today. Not looking forward to it. Anyway, I get out there and I get in the truck. I start it. I put the keys in the middle console like always. And I don't think the doors are supposed to lock as long as that fob or whatever it is inside the truck.
You'll even try to lock sometimes and
no, exactly. Exactly. So I get out of the truck, close the door, go to open up the back door to get the scraper / brush. I got this great one. It extends. It could be like this long. It's insane. So I go to open up the door and it's locked. I was like, I must not just have unlocked the back door. Go to open up the front door again. It's locked with the keys inside in 2024. I couldn't believe it. So then I'm at full, my knees start going numb. I'm like, oh my God, my truck's going to run forever. So then I was like, well, what do I do here? So I didn't want to ring the doorbell or knock on the door because if I woke the kids up, Tammy would kill me. So I call her. She's like, hello, what's going on? I said, you'll never believe what happened. I don't know why I was whispering. I was outside. I said, the keys got locked in the truck. So she came down, let me in. I dug around the basket where I keep a bunch of random stuff. Luckily, I did find the second key, managed to unlock it, but I still don't know how they locked.
I don't like that at all.
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't like that. You're gonna have to figure that one out because
this is all I can say right now. This is all I can say. Mondays, am I right? It's a classic Monday thing.
Chalk it up.
Now here's the only twist. This is why I could see maybe it happened, but it still doesn't make sense. Mind you, I don't know the inner workings of trucks. I had the auto start on, came out, the auto start shut off, so I fired the auto start back up when I was outside walking up to it, but then I was like, I'm just going to get in and start it. So I went to the door. The auto, it turned off. So I was like, opened it up. Started. So maybe there was some sort of crossover with an auto start or something.
It wasn't. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe that. I bet you that had something to do with it.
But in the end, here I am.
And a walk that still needs to be shoveled after the heavy hockey showdown yesterday. And
I think,
is that an offer? Is it Joe Belineski?
Somebody, Joe Belineski says, that being said, what's your address? I'll go over there and do your walks for you. No, Joe, I got it. I'm a homeowner. I'll take care of it. I just won't do it till later today, and I'll definitely be complaining about it the entire time, but that's okay. Let's lay out the show for you quickly, then we'll get into your morning announcements coming up, kind of take a recap of everything that happened yesterday. A busy show. This is a busy show today. We got to recap our heavy hockey.
That's a game day as
hockey
well.
Showdown.
Yes.
It's a game day. Tales of the North coming up around 6:30 this morning. I says pardon. We'll go there around 6:40 today. The good, bad, and ugly from the weekend still to come. Craig Button is in today. Dregs was traveling today. Craig Button is going to slide in. Craig Button slides in wherever we need him. Like last week, it was Noodles was traveling. Craig did Wednesday. This week, it's Dregs that's traveling. Craig is doing Monday.
Flex option. Hey?
What a guy. What a guy. So Craig Button will be in. We'll set up the. I don't know what we want to spend more time on today. The Oilers, the fallout from the loss of the Flames, or set up a game against another bitter rival. In the Los Angeles Kings.
You are Mr. Glass half full. You move forward, I think, right? Eyes forward.
Well, we'll see about that.
That was Saturday.
Oh, we got to talk about it.
Then there was Friday. And then there was Wednesday, and then
that penalty, Draisaitl. Are you kidding me, man? And I know he owned it after,
yeah.
But don't do it. Hey, that's cool. You own somebody after to give you a free pass. Don't do it. Your team's trying to push into a comeback, and you take a stupid, selfish penalty. That's just the worst. We'll get into that. Craig Button's going to join us just after 7 o'clock. Cool Bet hotline of the day. Is tonight the night McDavid scores? My goodness. Holy smokes. Mixing a goal here at some point. We'll get into that around 7:20 today. We're going to discuss it 7:30. I got a hot take for you on this game tonight. I'll give it to you around 7:30 this morning. That's good. We're going to get to that for the Italian Center Shop around 7:45 today, or as some people say, that's a good. We'll get to that. That should be good. 3 questions too many. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's and Park Mazda coming up just after 8 o'clock. Ryan Rishaug scheduled to join us.
Who?
The Monday morning mandates, of course, a mandate that we only do on Mondays, but I still don't know if I'd seen him since like maybe 1 week since I got back from Spengler. Because he was on vacation there for 2 weeks, and then he was
Wi-Fi.
Then we didn't have a show on the
He didn't
Monday.
have Wi-Fi.
There was no Wi-Fi in Saskatoon or Mexico where he was. So he is scheduled to join us today, I think. So we'll have the Monday morning Got Your Back mandate coming up here around 8:25, and then an orange and blue breakfast on the way as well around 8:40 today. So we do have a jam-packed show. If you need a conch this morning, let us know. Hit us up in the inbox. Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Get into the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning. 22 locations across the country. Go see our friends at PJ's. They'll look after you. Or you can hop online, obviously, at parisjewelers.com. Plus, with their flexible financing options, do not pay until 2025. It is February of 2024, and you don't have to pay until 2025, which is absolutely a brilliant idea. You could win text of the day today for A&W as well. Tell your buddies about the new spicy piri piri buddies, just $3.99 each. Great deal here. Your choice of chicken patty, beef patty, or hash brown patty. You get the onions, the tomato, the crisp whole leaf lettuce, and the new spicy piri piri sauce. Just $3.99 zip through the drive-thru. They're here for a limited time only. This text is in and says, it's race week. Tommy Rubella chimes in the inbox as well. Tommy says, guys, iHeart is the first step to Bell trying to find a way to take the nasty away from us again. Not going to happen. We've got a great relationship.
Yeah,
We've got a great working relationship here.
Future-proofed it. Hey,
Edmonton
shall we say?
Sports
Is that
Talk
the term
Edmonton
you
Sports
want?
Talk. We're just now on the iHeart platform, so we don't have to worry about that. This text is in and says, so when are you back on CTV Morning Live with your hits? LOL. Well, back on the Bear this morning, and I've told our good friend there, Kent Morrison, that with the new deal, I should have approval to hop on CTV Morning Live if he so desires.
If they want to add a little sports flair to the show, yeah. I mean, it'd be totally in their in their best interest.
Tube Socks is in and says, iHeartRadio signal is loud and clear. Yes, it is. Spruce Grove Corey, EST school bus update. My kid's bus in Spruce is not running today. All right, if you got school bus updates, we got to have them. Text them in, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. And we'll get to a few more of those as we work our way through the show this morning. But if you do have a school bus update, we would gladly pass it along. All right, let's get into your morning announcements, recap of some things that happened last night and this weekend around the world of sports. Your morning announcements brought to you by 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's best rock. You can McCord in the morning, and our girl Jess Jackson.
Man, that sounds good.
Every single afternoon on 100.3 The Bear. You can also find The Bear, obviously, on iHeart. You can listen to them on FM radio if you want, but you can find them on the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, boy, we've come a long way.
Here we are.
This is great.
Here we are. We will plug FM radio, but AM radio is a waste of time. I mean, what are we talking about? No need to worry about that. Morning announcements brought to you by 100.3 The Bear. I'll be on with McCord and Uke a little bit later on this morning if you're one of those FM folks. All right, let's quickly start here with your morning announcements. Hockey, heavy hockey, showdown, the recap. I have to say, what was the thing that stood out from you the most this week? Like, what's your most memorable moment from what we got going on?
With the heavy hockey related.
Yeah, with the heavy hockey. Heavy hockey related. Like from the game yesterday.
I chewed 4 packs of Dentine cinnamon gum, and my taste buds still aren't firing at 100%. My jaw...
You did get into that gum heavily.
Chewing the gum. Look, Iwanek was on the bench, dressed up to the nines. Fergie's prostate, who I was talking up all week, big suit, big reveal, dropped the ball. That pissed Iwanek off even more, and then Coach Pete showing up with his suit.
Oh, Coach
I
Pete
think
looked good.
the dynamic of the young Matt Iwanek, doing special teams. He's got his speeches there and his papers, and then stoic Coach Pete, not saying a word, just standing there and kind of exacting his dominance. The whole coaching angle that we had rolling on Team EST was, for me, the most memorable thing. I found it funny. There were times that I couldn't keep a straight face. I was chewing the gum. The boys were suited up. Ultimately, in the end, we couldn't get it over the line, but I thought a pretty entertaining game. Would say for the neutral, every fans in attendance. You had Mr. Clark singing the anthem. It was a good day, a decent day down at the community arena, and lots of good money raised as well.
Yeah, they're going to be up around $45,000 when it's all said and done for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, which is a great cause.
Coach Matt even got interviewed on the television there.
I saw that. I was
Big
running
interview.
on Global last night.
Usually they'll pull a coach off the bench, though. City TV.
City TV.
Yeah.
Matthew Iwanek, I did not see this in him. He took over as coach.
Well, you guys had the fire lit under you in the intermission, I guess we could say, between the two games?
So between the two games, they're like, hey, we need a rah-rah speech. So Matty goes and pulls out the whole Pacino speech.
Word for word.
And goes word for word, including saying football instead of hockey. And I got a bunch of it recorded, but he absolutely killed it. He killed it. It was great. Now, we ended up losing the first game, 4-3. Real tight one. And they got us pretty good.
Well, they jumped on you early, and then the comeback never really got there.
It was like 3-0 in the second game. It was. I mean, they had a really nice team.
They had a cigar for you guys. If we won, we would have all smoked his Dutch Master there, and that didn't even get you. That was his ace in the hole.
Yeah. At one point, we're down. So we're
4-0. I think we called the timeout. That they scored another 2. He's like, "That's all I got."
Yeah, it was 4-0. I don't know how many minutes in. Early.
Handful.
It was 4-0 early in the second game. We call a timeout. I'm waiting to see what Matty does. Matty pulls out a cigar and goes, "Let's win, and I can smoke this." And I was like,
"Well, we all get a puff.
We all get a puff.
We'd all get our lips around that puppy if we."
Anyway, as somebody said after that football speech between games, we would have played a hell of a football game. It just wasn't meant to be in hockey. We ended up losing that game. 9-6. They got the empty netter.
Yeah.
They got the empty netter.
Empty netter. Yeah.
10-6 maybe.
10.
Was it 10? It wasn't 10-8, Trev.
It was 10-8 or 10-7.
I think 10-7. We must have pulled the goalie at 9-7.
What happened in that empty netter again too?
Clapper in the empty netter, full-blown brawl. Everybody's freaking out. Mind you, Weeb on our team dropped his gloves like a man.
Yeah.
As opposed to
Exactly.
cross-checking Hamilton in the head there. So it was a good time. It was a good time. That was one of the good things from the weekend as we dive into your morning announcements here for 100.3 The Bear. I can't.
It's going to take a while to get used to.
I can't get used to
from having
saying
the
that.
days of Bear banners on our website and everything such as that, and the morning wars that we had, friendly wars, albeit, but this is something new.
But think about this for a second. Think about this. We are 6 months into Edmonton Sports Talk, and we've got FM stations advertising with us. I says, pardon? Unbelievable.
What a twist.
Okay, now we got to get to the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers as far as morning announcements go.
What about the Wild?
I don't know. No. We got to talk about
That happened too.
We got to talk. Yeah, whatever. Friday's game. By the way, great party though at Hudson's. Oh man, I was there till like 1:30 in the morning.
That's maybe what you talk about is the Hudson's watch party, Hudson's Bourbon Street.
Great crew out. It was
Electric.
nice.
Yeah,
it was nice. Tommy's gonna have pre and post on Wednesday back at White Ave for Hudson's.
Okay.
So make plans to join Tommy at White Hudson's on White on Wednesday. It was unacceptable. Like every aspect of that game. When Matthias Janmark is answering the bell for you, like does not everybody else have to look at themselves and be like, how come Matthias Janmark's the guy that's fighting Blake Coleman after a hit on Connor McDavid? Like what's going on here? Good on Matthias Janmark. I mean, Matthias Janmark, Dylan Holloway, obviously Zach Hyman. Those are the three guys that I thought had a good game. I was exchanging some tweets with Bruce McCurdy. I think he also had a positive rating for Derek Ryan.
Okay.
And that was it. Like nobody else in that game. What were they doing? Like that was the whole like up and down since the streak. I get it. That's what teams go through. And I guess, I know some people are like, Dusty, third game in 4 nights, back-to-backs. Okay, if you want to use scheduling excuses, go ahead. Use scheduling excuses. But, like, of the games you want to get up for, of the games you want to have a good start, a Saturday night at home against the Calgary Flames, if that didn't get you going, what the hell will? Like, what happened here? Makes no sense. The first goal, Kadri and McDavid together at the blue line. Kadri pushes off of him. McDavid lets him go for 2 seconds. Puck's in the back of the net. I could spend the entire morning talking about Leon Draisaitl. I mean, Leon Draisaitl was an absolute non-factor in that game, except for the stupid, selfish penalty that he took. Like, what are you doing? Your team has clawed back into this thing, and now you're sending them back to the... Like, what was that? What was that about? Ryan McLeod might as well not even dress in the playoffs. Let's be honest. I mean, he's not going to get involved physically at all. Nobody has ever loved the perimeter more than Ryan McLeod loves the perimeter, especially in a Battle of Alberta. Non-existent. At least they had Hyman going. I thought it said a lot about Dylan Holloway that in that game, he did not shy away from anything. Driving a line in which they're probably not going to score much with the guys that he's playing with. But in a Battle of Alberta, now Corey Perry later on finally just had enough and was like, I gotta go grab somebody and do something. But Evander Kane, Darnell Nurse talking a lot. Really not much going on there. Kane cross-checked Kadri late once. It was a piss poor effort. It was a bad hockey game from the Edmonton Oilers. And now they get the Kings, and you're like, well, look, what happens here?
The Flames, these are those two teams going in different directions. Flames 7-3 in their last 10. The Oilers 4-5-1. We know the record since the All-Star break. The Kings as well, flying in here this evening, 7-2-1 in their past 10. They look a little resurrected, and coming off the 4-0 win over the Oilers just recently as well, which I think we were at a Boston Pizza for. But yeah. Mark Perry, and it's one thing to talk about these guys and you give them their flowers and everything like that, but you mentioned earlier on in Draisaitl taking, responsibility, I guess, for the call. You mentioned yesterday on the bench, I mentioned your gloves, and you said they're Draisaitl's. I thought you were burning yourself. That was a sick take on yourself, like a hot take, since you weren't playing well. I thought that maybe that was what you were talking about there.
But I did score a goal.
Sure, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if that was a compliment. Usually you say you're wearing Draisaitl's gloves. It's a good thing. I was thinking it's a bad thing. This is a tough spot. You got the Blues coming in after this Kings team, who also beat the part that should concern you. Just getting up.
Is
the getting up for a Saturday night game against a rival. Eh?
Your leaders let you down in a Battle of Alberta, right? And how many times have those guys carried you to a victory in the Battle of Alberta?
However, though, and I'm going to watch what I
again.
say, how many times have we also talked about the leadership group letting them down in certain areas? This isn't the first time this has happened in this sort of
This might be the most
moment.
glaring, though.
Perhaps,
I think this one might be the most glaring.
Yeah.
Anyway, your thoughts on the Oilers and the Calgary Flames from the weekend? That's a bad spot. Like, you've already dropped the first 2 games on a homestand. It's a Saturday night and Calgary's in town. And that's the performance you put up? We haven't even got into the team completely falling apart defensively now. Skinner being unable to bail them out of certain situations. Now what's happened here is I'm looking online and people are like, well, you can't even go to Skinner in the playoffs. Like, he was one of the main factors in a 16-game winning streak. Like, people realize that, right? Play solid defense in front of them.
The defensive structure, yes, as well.
Figure out your goal. Figure out your penalty kill. Like, anyway, those are your morning announcements for 100.3 The Bear.
All those American fans in town, too. Hey?
Yeah.
Friday, they're going at the
know.
Wild. Like,
I know.
Oh, and if not, at least the Flames Saturday night. You at home, that's a given.
What say you? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Jimbo's in and says, I hated that game. Yeah, I think most people probably did, Jimbo. I think most people probably did. Cutter? Morning, boys. Still from Qatar. Wow, cool. Hopefully, the Oil can lift out of this slide. I couldn't even listen to the Battle of Alberta broadcast after the second. They need to come out flying in the next 5 games. Well, this is another one where you sit here and go, all right, well, it's the Los Angeles Kings. You've lost 3 in a row at home. If you can't get up for the Los Angeles Kings, what the hell's even going on here? So I would I would think they come out and beat the Los Angeles Kings tonight. If you start this road trip, this homestand 0-4 with back-to-back losses to the Flames and the Los Angeles Kings.
Hey,
what do you do?
You can lose to the Bruins. They'll beat the Wild.
Well, yeah, exactly. Tough look. Somebody texted in, or maybe it was in the nasty chat today. Guys, there's a lot of freshie out there. Yeah, you're probably stoked about this, aren't you? There we go.
So stoked. Like, I don't even, like, winter's here. You know, this is the first time we've been up. I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just
I'm
so stoked.
Yes.
I mean, it came down last night, what, a good 5 inches?
Last night, I think so, something like that, and a couple feet the day before.
And you got a 5-foot base with 5 inches of freshie on top.
So we had like a no-foot base, and now we got about 12 inches of freshie on top.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And now some of those drifts piling up to you can get in the building here today. Hey,
I couldn't even see the second step on my stairs. I was like, where am I supposed to step? Coming out of the house today because of the wind.
Soups and breads, that type of thing today. And the temperature's plunging too, so it's going to be one of those days. Eh?
Yeah, it's an ugly one.
Got it all.
If you can work from home today, work from home today. It's as simple as that. Sit at home and just get all fat.
A weekend wave of snow will mean less people on the slick roads.
We'll probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
God, I love that. I love that lady. I wish she was at least an auntie. You know, maybe not a grandma or anything there, but I wish that lady was an auntie. She'd be one of my aunties. That'd be, or an auntie, as some of you would say.
An auntie, yes.
Yes. Loomis, straight fire this morning in the nasty chat. If you lose against the Kings, pack it in. You're not doing anything in the postseason. You might make it to the dance, but you're going to fall on your face. Nothing more embarrassing than getting to that dance, having a chance to maybe slow dance with a girl or something, and then you fall on your face. That sucks, the big one.
But at least you'd have the opportunity to dance.
You just want to be
there. The key is don't
right?
fall on your face, I guess, in the moment.
You want to be there.
Easier said than done.
The Edmonton Oilers, 33-20-2 for 68 points.
You know, it's a shame, too, because the Golden Knights are doing their stumble right now. That you in this little moment in time, you could have seen a scenario where but now you're
they
even
too
with the
have
Kings.
lost 3 in a row.
Yep.
The Los Angeles Kings, 29-17-10, 68 points. Both these teams coming to the game with 68 points. This is a big one. This is as good as a playoff game right here. And I guess I still have this, I think they're going to win. Maybe at this point I shouldn't be shocked if they lose, but I'll be pretty shocked if they lose tonight.
Well, they lost to teams 4 and 5 in the West wildcard race Friday and Saturday. They're now playing the top team in that wildcard race. I don't know what that means. They've got the other one in the Blues, number 3, coming in to round out this homestand. Is that what they are? Instead of sitting in that top 3 rank in the Pacific, right? And I mentioned just in the same breath, chasing down to Vegas. Oh, last week we heard the division is still up for grabs. In fact, the division is right there for the taking. It's just they have to get the games at hand. Now, though, you're looking at things. Again, the Flames, the Wild, Blues are coming in here. Kings are red hot. Preds have won 5 in a row.
Maybe the winning streak was just a cupcake schedule in January.
It may have been mentioned a few times, but
prove us
wrong.
otherwise.
Prove us wrong. Exactly.
Prove us wrong.
I'd love to be proven wrong.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Jason's in says, congrats on your iHeart dig from YouTube Trev's dad. 6 o'clock. How about that? Trev's dad. Trev, how'd you feel about yesterday? How'd you feel about the game yesterday?
Yeah. What's up, Dad? That's kind of cool. And the game was fun. Man, I'm kind of disappointed with how I performed out there, but
you had that one little toe drag inside the blue line.
But I don't know what it is. My crossovers. I got to figure that out because it's weird.
There's a huge difference, as you talked about yesterday, from the ODR, Like outdoor rink ice is just so much different than rink ice. It takes a while to get used to. Like after playing in the world's longest hockey game for like 11 days, 3 times, my first skate back at like drop in or men's league, the ice just feels like you're completely out of sorts. And is that kind of how it was?
Yeah. It's so weird because like after the game, like my roomies and the lady, they came watch me play. And he said, he was like, what was going on with you out there? Like, what was that? You were falling so much. And I'm like, I know. I don't know why. But that was the way she went. As far as the game went, I had a lot of fun. It was really cool. I got to meet some pretty cool dudes. I had a lot of fun. It was sick. Solid turnout.
We had a nice group of guys. We had a nice group of guys on our team for sure. 780-218-9999 or on YouTube this morning as well. Darcy says the streak was real. The break got them off track. Maybe a little bit of that. The streak. I mean, the streak was great.
It happened, yeah.
But if you go back and look at the streak, but they won all 16. I mean,
they were playing very well.
They won all
defensively,
16.
yeah.
They were playing great defensively.
Great defense.
But it was like game day off, 2 days off. It was January was just a sweetheart.
When you
schedule.
say cupcake schedule, not so much talking about the opposition, but just how everything was.
Now you're
staggered.
playing. You're playing like really decent teams every second game.
Yeah.
And, they got to find this happy middle ground. Are they better than they've looked the last few games? Yes, they are. Are they as good as they were during the 16-game winning streak? No, not a chance. So, let's kind of settle in where they're at. It's up for their management team to figure out what that is prior to the deadline, which is not that far away. Trade deadline is less than 2 weeks away. We will have full trade deadline day coverage right here and only here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Let's get to a sports update for Green Plan with Lieutenant Eric. Tales of the North on the other side to get you ready for the Oilers and the Kings tonight. I says pardon coming up, and the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend. All still to come here the 6 o'clock hour. If you need a 6 o'clock hour conching, let us know. 780-218-9999 or hit us up in the nasty chat over on YouTube as well. It's going to be moving along today. We got Craig Button. We got Ryan Rishaug on the way here on the Nielson Show this morning.
Rachel Homan's Team Ontario capturing the Scotties Tournament Hearts with a 5-4 win over Jennifer Jones and Team Manitoba. It's Homan's 5th Scotties title for Jones. The loss marks her final game at the tournament after 18 appearances. Oilers, Game 4 of a 5-game homestand tonight against the Kings. Edmonton have dropped 3 straight following Saturday night's loss to the Flames. Tom Gazzola and YouTube Trev have your Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows beginning at 6 o'clock here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the TuneIn Radio app, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube. Oilers-Kings, one of 4 games around the NHL tonight. Yesterday, the Jets over the Coyotes 4-3 in overtime, while the Preds double up Anaheim 4-2. Nashville have won 5 straight. Alberta Pandas Hockey have earned the right to play for a 15th conference banner thanks to a 2-0 Game 3 win over Mount Royal in the Canada West semifinals. Game 1 of the Can West final scheduled for Friday afternoon in Vancouver. Golden Bears Hockey coming up just short. They dropped Game 3 of the Can West semis yesterday in UBC. Oil Kings over the Wenatchee Wild 5-2 from Rogers Place. The club will hit the road for a pair visiting the Hitmen Wednesday and the Tigers on Friday. Grand Prairie over Drumheller 4-2 in AJHL action. Drayton Valley will host Whitecourt in the lone game tonight. Nikola Jokic with his 3rd straight triple-double, leading Denver over the Warriors 119-103. Raptors visit the Pacers tonight in one of 4 games around the NBA. And Real Madrid have reached a verbal agreement with Canadian star left-back and Edmontonian Alphonso Davies over a transfer from Bayern Munich. This according to a report from The Athletic. Davies will either join Real Madrid in 24 or 25 when his contract with Bayern expires. Sports update brought to you by Green Plan. With construction season coming up around the corner, planning season is already in full swing. For all of your environmental planning needs, contact Green Plan Environmental Consultants. Green Plan can assist with any of your environmental concerns, no matter how big or small the project. Green Plan is here to help. Check them out today at green-plan.com.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. Well, tune in tune in. We're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Tati and Eric and all at the back. Like Wyszynski and Noodles. Captain can gauge it. Maybe slip over to Kuban to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Sharky's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about Amanda Games? Macramel, Rapapo, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him giving person, does he go for? What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Oh, yeah. AM Nasty Flu, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there's nothing you can do about it. And there's nothing you can do about it. The Muzz got a little, like, electronic keyboard for her birthday.
Okay.
And I get home the other day, and Elizabeth's like, hey, Daddy, listen to this. And she plays something on it, and it's the beginning of the 6 o'clocker check-in song. I was just like, yeah, it sounds just like it. So now her and Marshall are playing it all the time.
I want her on the synth.
I tell her, I say, you're just like a young Jaunty and Victoria. That's what I say to her. She doesn't no idea what that means, but
it sounds cool.
It's pretty neat, isn't it? All right, let's see here. Let's get this one. This is a good conch today. Boys, I could use a conch driving in this weather on Highway 16. That's in from Colby today. If you do have any school bus updates, let us know. It's just overwhelming, right? Like, we've had colder days, but it's just overwhelming with the amount of snow that's out there today. Mind you, we deserve this. Like, we needed some winter.
I love it.
I imagine a lot of Edmontonians are like Lieutenant Dan at the top of the ship when the storm's going, and he's tied to, like, the very top of the mast, and he's like, oh, come get me, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's us with this winter right now, I think. Kind of needed that.
The moisture.
Guys, all we need is some fresh pebble on the QE2 and we could have a bonspiel. The ice is keener than the Scotties. Probably at least 16 seconds, hog to hog. Mike, the Michigan fan, in this morning as well. Timber Woodsman is in and says, sorry to my St. Albert neighbors, I started the snowblower up at 6:15 this morning. Knee-high packed snow, and the wife would have never made it out of the 90-foot driveway. I'll clean your sidewalk at 7:30.
6:15 on a Saturday morning, maybe not, but on a Monday morning.
On a Monday morning?
We got to get up. We got to get working, eh? We got to get going. And
you know what we call this? The grind. All you're probably doing is helping people. Because they should probably be up early getting
You're waking up
too.
to that snowblower sound. Yeah, time to get going. Yeah, you can get at her.
No, I like that one. Road Dog Trev is in and says, fellas, can I get a birthday conch for my B-Day today and making my hangout debut tomorrow morning?
That's right,
what?
too, yeah.
Holy smokes.
That's my quarterback. Trevor Harris.
Trevor Harris. Yeah. Fantasy quarterback and Riders quarterback. All right. We've got ISIS Pardon coming up. Good, Bad, and Ugly from the weekend coming up as well. If you want to continue to chime in on the Oilers and the Flames, feel free to do so. I kind of already said my part. You know, like, we'll get into it again with Craig Button. I'm sure we'll get into it around 7:30 as well. Ryan Rishaug coming up around 8:25 today. We'll obviously be talking Oilers, Flames, set up Oilers and Kings with him as well. But, during this 3-game homestand, what's been the most concerning thing for you? It's a simple question to answer. 780-218-9999 or hit us up in the nasty chat. If you are listening on TuneIn, you can also now listen on the iHeartRadio app. Free app. Download it. Listen. You'll love it. As Tubestock said earlier, coming in loud and clear. Loud and clear on the iHeart.
That's what it says on iHeart when you search up Edmonton Sports Talk. Clear choice. Why would you know? Why would you click on anything else?
For Edmonton Sports. Tales of the North. Oilers and Kings tonight. I did this last night. I wrote this last night when I was in the bath.
Having a soak, eh?
I was having a soak last night after the hockey game, letting the legs Recovery. They call it recovery. I think people call it recovery.
So this is going to take on some sort of a what's the kingdom? The water one, eh? Is that where your mind went? You're kind of going for some sort of you know what I'm saying?
The iron.
Did you kind of get into that mode? I guess.
What is that? They're out on the hills.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Hey,
the Iron Islands.
Yeah. The
Iron Islands.
Yeah.
No, I was also watching the movie The Martian at the same time.
You-
So I just love that movie.
Content overload.
I watch Martian all the time. It's a great movie. I'm always like, man, maybe he's gonna get stuck up there forever. And could he survive? Right? Like. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. Oilers and Kings tonight. Lieutenant Eric, you're good to go?
Yes.
Oh, there he is. He's ready to go. Oilers and Kings, Tales of the North. Big one tonight.
Who owns the North? Who owns the North? Show me!
Pierre-Luc Dubois, you coach-slaying pyromancer!
Tonight in the North, a fierce rivalry surfaces as the false kings of the Pacific seek to wage war in the District of Ice. Todd the Grey, banished to the land of unemployment alongside his former pupil, Lord Woodcroft. Clean cheeks! Both former men of the orange and blue cloth will watch with interest this eve. Ye old sunken eyes, Ange, and his fellow Ugletarian, Doughty the Dirty, arrive with Pierre-Luc Dubious, PLD, for disappointment. The Garlic Knight seeks to get his troops back on track on their home battlefield. Leon, the Selfish, looking for redemption in the form of a royal defeat of the lads from La La Land. These are the tales of the North, and may they be heard far and wide across this great land. That's all you got there, eh?
Well, no, it's
just
It's. What else do you say from the weekend that was and leading into a game tonight? It's frustration combined. You go to battle,
Stauffer Premier's in and says fellow Ugletarian. I think I created that word.
That's it sounds great.
Well, it's a play on being not great looking.
And it could also
I think Kopitar and Doughty kind of fit that bill.
The
So.
Game of Thrones vernacular. You could do that easily.
Yeah. All right, Tales of the
What'd you
North.
call Pierre-Luc Dubois?
Pierre-Luc Dubious. PLD for disappointment.
Dubious.
That worked out well, right? Like I'm
Very
surprised
good.
I haven't heard
Yeah.
Pierre-Luc Dubious before.
Well, either the Golden Knights or the Kings usually get the best out of that segment, eh? And I don't think that one.
This was usually the
short.
Kings provide us.
Yeah.
I did get a little emotional
Round
writing
table.
about Todd the Grey and Lord Woodcroft both being unemployed. You know, like
I know
that's a tough one.
heavy is the head that. Yeah.
That holds the crown.
Sure.
That's
Yes.
that's the saying. All right, you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Or you can hit us up in the nasty chat as well this morning. Let's get into I Says Pardon today. We got to talk about what this video popping up over the weekend. I Says Pardon brought to you by Lawyer Central. Get a clean slate for an affordable rate. www.lawyer-central.com/pardons or call 1-888-288-8177 to find out more about getting pardoned. They've got lawyers all across the country. So if you made a mistake back in the day, don't pay for it anymore. Get a pardon, get things back on track. Lawyer Central will help you do that, which is really nice of them. I mean, that's great. So did you see this ice football? I saw this video for ice football, and I Says Pardon. This is quite the scene, man.
Renee from Centric Casino has already bet and won multiple hundreds of dollars on this sport.
On the
guaranteed.
So I looked. So this is in Germany.
Yeah.
And basically, it looks like an indoor football league setup, but it's on ice. And I don't think the guys are really wearing shoes that are meant to be on ice. Like if you watch it, it's the classic.
They look like shoes meant to not be on ice.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It
looks even slipperier than it should be.
Yeah.
Like these guys, it's hilarious. Just hop online, go on YouTube, whatever, search. I think what I saw, it came up on Twitter as like American football on ice.
Ice football.
Ice football.
Ice
basically.
football ice. Kicking the field goals. I mean, talk about trying to get an edge on the outside.
You see the guys? Imagine trying to kick a field goal while having to have your one leg planted on the ice with like no grip. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. There's a YouTube channel for it. They've got a small amount of games. I think there's like 7 videos posted on YouTube for it. But if you watch it, it's hilarious because they have to go so slow when they're trying to like make a corner, and then they get on the straightaway, and they're wearing like full hockey gear basically.
Oh yeah.
And then they take off. It's almost cute. Like it's quaint. Like
Watching a highlight pack of an overhead snap.
Yeah, and then everybody has to rush back.
And it's chaos, but you're right. You have to then slow down at the point of contact to make sure you secure the egg and all of that. The celebrations are great. You're sliding into the boards. Again, the field goal kicking is something else. And the field goal, like the goalposts all lit up. Like it's very inside, obviously, with the ice and everything. But it looks a bit like a rave. I mean, there's lights, there's cheerleaders, the whole bit.
I looked when I was on the YouTube channel looking. The South Side Smoothies were playing the North Side Naughties. And that was the game that I kind of watched the highlights of. And then there's like
two of the best.
The North. There's the North and the South and the East and West. So I don't know if it's just 4 teams kind of in one German city, and that's how they do this. But I don't know. I think I'd like to see it in person. I think it would be really funny in person to sit here and watch it. And it seems like quite the event.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, like it's got a roller jamminess to it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's I think anytime you take a sport and put it on ice, I like to see them all tried. Baseball, basketball, whatever. It always looks hilarious.
Or maybe like hockey on a field.
Not with those stupid sticks. I hated playing field hockey when it's like all the sticks are only one-handed. What's that about?
A little hurling for you, maybe?
That was always the worst. Anyway, so I listened to the play-by-play of one of these things. And it was funny because it's in German. But then at one point I heard the words, taunting! NFL. So I don't know, somebody scored a touchdown and they're like, it was taunting, just like in the NFL. I was like, these guys are having a time.
I'm seeing Der Kugelblitz, if you will.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Of course. Yes.
So do you think this comes from like one guy who has a ton of money and is like, I want to see this, and then finds people who want to play it and pays them like a small amount? Or like, where's this come from? Is this like grassroots and they're all just volunteering I feel like this is one rich person who thinks football on ice would be hilarious, so he funded 4 teams.
It looks pretty, like it looks done correctly. Like it doesn't look cheap at all. Everything looks like above board, spare no expense level, we always used to say. But no idea. This is and is it internet? What field dimensions are we playing? What ice dimensions? Is this international? Is this North American here? What are we talking about? Canadian, if you will?
Well, what's the field got there? Like 50 yards? Is it 50 yards?
Goes up to 25 is your...
Both ways, though.
Yeah.
So probably about 50 total?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's worth checking out.
That's good for a laugh.
As soon as I saw football on the ice, I says pardon. I don't know if this is one of those things that just goes away, or is this something that has staying power, and all of a sudden there's a league in England, and then there's a league in Finland, and then there's a league in the United States of America, and The Rock buys into it and fails miserably, and they have to merge with another league.
I'm seeing tape from a game versus East and West.
Yes.
You were watching North-South.
I watched the Northern Naughties versus the Southern Smoothies. And it was pretty good. Pretty good. I says pardon, brought to you by Lawyer Central. Lawyer-central.com/pardons. They'll get you through it.
So that's your good from the weekend, I would assume as well.
No,
right?
I got more goods. We'll get to the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend. I want to get to this one message from Kevin McKenna in the Nasty Chat. Says, Leon the Selfish? ? Did you watch the game, Kev?
Are you out of bounds there? Or?
He admittedly said that he took a selfish penalty after the game.
Maybe you take ownership for calling him Leon the Selfish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're questioning me calling him selfish, but I'm sure you watched the Calgary game. The team was on the verge of trying to push towards a comeback, and he took just an all-time stupid selfish penalty. Admitted it was selfish after. So yeah, today on Tales of the North is Leon the Selfish. Usually it's Leon the Lionheart. At the game against Calgary, it wasn't Leon the Lionheart.
He said so himself.
That's
Leon did.
I mean, that's just how it has to be. That's how it just had to be. Plumber Topher's in and says, sorry I missed the 6 o'clock hour. I just spent the last 6 hours shoveling my double car driveway. Man, imagine how difficult that would be. Double car I guess I can park like.
I have
How big is a double car driveway?
I have a 2-car garage.
I can
Is that
park
what-
4 vehicles on my driveway. And a pretty decent sized driveway.
Oh, like 2 and then 2.
I can do
Oh,
2
wow.
in the front and then 2 right behind. There's a little bit of leakage onto the sidewalk, which is not very nice as a neighbor to do, which is why I don't. But I don't know. I can shovel my driveway in like 20 minutes. Like if even with a big dump might take half an hour.
Yeah, big dump.
Like today's good. That's a commitment.
Today, you don't just push it. You can get that one push to the side.
Yeah.
Today, it's so heavy that you're pushing, and then you have to
Pushing
stop
and
and
shovel
do it
and-
again.
Yeah,
like
that sucks.
It's more of a
Today is throw in some headphones and listen to a podcast
and
while
take
you're
it a
out
little
there.
slow. Yeah, like kind of enjoy the time. Some days you can go out there for a speed test, but this isn't it.
All right, let's get into our good, bad, and ugly from the weekend. Lots to dissect here. Quite a weekend for us here at Edmonton Sports Talk.
Yeah.
For obviously the Edmonton Oilers losing to the Calgary Flames. We'll get into that as well. JCD 780 says, big game coming from Leon tonight. He's going to want to impress the team he's going to sign with as a UFA. Oh, I didn't read the rest of that. As I said, I was just like, yes.
I did.
Big game
I
from
didn't know
Leon
what you were
tonight.
getting into
I know.
there.
I look over at you, you're like, oh, he's going to read
He's
it.
gonna do it, eh?
He's not going
Well-
there. They wasted their money on Pierre-Luc Dubois,
The dubious.
one. So I don't think so. Joel says Dusty is intentionally ignoring me. Not cool. Sorry, Joel, I wasn't. But I mean, type in caps like you did there. I guess I'll see it.
Keep going.
I guess I'll see it. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Sean is in and says, hey, fellas, met you guys on Friday at the watch party with my girlfriend. Thanks again for everything you do, but especially for making me uncontrollably laugh with ye old sunken eyes. That's one of our best Tales of the North handles ever for Kopitar, ye old sunken eyes. It just works. Go look at pictures of him. Yeah. It's
Looks
crazy.
like he's been in a bingo hall for 2 weeks straight or something.
Insanely talented.
Sure.
And very successful in his career. But,
Yes.
you know, the old sunken eyes is just an all-time handle. It's great. And, Sean, it was good to meet you and your girlfriend. We met a lot of people. Friday night was just a great turnout at Hudson's at West Edmonton Mall. It was real
Amazing.
nice. Real nice. All right, what's your good from the weekend, man?
That's one of my goods.
Okay.
You
One
know
of
me.
your goods. How many goods you have?
Well, I got a few, if you'll allow me. I know we're kind of up against the clock.
No, we're good.
Hudson's is great. I love the partnership. For me, selfishly, the Bourbon Street, right close to home, stumbling distance. Friday night was great. Norman Combine, his family was out. Dustin with a Y, Andrea, Jason, the whole bit. And then meeting some new people. Of course, the Salt Lake City tour was up here as well. They were heading out to the game. So a good time, great staff, great people, great ale on tap. The Hudson's Balehouse Ale, top 3 in my books. So I'll go with the watch party Friday, albeit the result didn't turn out in Oilers fans' favor. The heavy hockey, obviously, from yesterday and the weekend that was. Maddie, I want it coming away with a Terry Vaughn signed photo from the auction Saturday night down at Soho. So everything kind of turned out great. I know Surveyor Brett's chimed in, Paris Jewelers inbox this morning. He even credited a good officiated game. I think everything was above board, so I'll give that. And just for something going on in the sporting world, Pandas Hockey getting it done. They've earned the right to play for a 15th conference banner, thanks to a 2-0 Game 3 win over Mount Royal. They'll now go off to the Canada West Finals. Game 1, Friday afternoon out in Vancouver against UBC, the school that the Golden Bears were shut out against 4-0 yesterday, and which was my bad. I'm
Lost
kind
the
of going
game
on.
3, yeah. I'm going to curling for my good.
Hey, look at you.
Jennifer Jones.
Love it. Yeah.
Wrapping up here. Not in the fashion she would have
No.
wanted. She would have loved to have
But
won.
that's okay.
that
You get
Scotties.
beat.
You got beat by Rachel Holman.
The knockout rounds was good curling.
It was, wasn't it?
Saturday night was a great game, too.
I got sucked in pretty good on Saturday night.
Oh, the shots
I missed
were-
a part of the hockey game because I was watching curling Saturday night.
Pool play is awesome. Everything's going on. You got tons of games throughout the day and that. But when you get to those knockout rounds and there's that one featured game on the 4 sheets and everybody's kind of tuned in and you get the best of the best shot for shot, that's great stuff. Thank you for bringing up curling.
So my good, Jennifer Jones,
Yeah.
great career, got this close right at the end, had already won a number of times, had a great speech with her daughters there about, what she'll miss most and stuff with Brian Mudryk. But then with curling, like the sign off from Vic Rauter. And just nobody does it like Vic. Like
make the final.
Like when Vic retires, who wants? I guess Mudryk will slide in and fill. But who really wants to fill those shoes? Like there's no way. Like Vic is an absolute legend. Like even on the final call, as it's coming in, and he goes, "They gotta have it." Or I was just like, "Oh my god!" I had goosebumps, and then
gonna curl?
Yeah, and then like the sort of montage and voiceover rap towards the end is just, and then the finish, even when he's just like signing off from Calgary, and it's like, "We'll see you on Friday in Regina." Vic, for a few years when I did Spangler was hosting. But I never had a chance to actually like work with him. But he would send it to us. We call a game, send it back to him. But man, curling and Vic Rao, it's the best. I don't know how you can get any better.
Well, it's the only thing. He tried to do
good.
soccer once on TSN, and that kind of went.
He is
haywire.
curling.
Oh yeah.
Curling is Vic Rao.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
You should try to get him on a little CFL action.
Wouldn't that be something?
Just for like Vic's thoughts.
Vic's thoughts.
Let's go
on
to
the Canadian
Vic for a
football.
thought on the game of the week or something like that, and then you go to him and then these curling innuendos and everything.
That'd be real nice. All right, let's get into the bad. What's your bad from the
Yeah, Golden Bears hockey, as I was kind of leading into as well there. And look, maybe not the best season for them is in terms of traditional Golden Bears hockey. They go into Saskatoon, they defeat the Huskies, as you do. Death, taxes, and the Golden Bears beating the Huskies in Canada West playoffs, whether it's here or in Saskatoon. So they do that. They go off to UBC. They forced a Game 3 yesterday, but ultimately shut out in that Game 3 decider 4-0 yesterday. So the bad, unfortunately, going to Golden Bears hockey, it stops yesterday out in Vancouver.
I blame Yaremchuk for most of it.
As you should.
Stoff, play-by-play guy for a long time. They have a lot of success. Corey Graham, play-by-play guy for a long time.
Like Montreal with the torch.
Had a lot of
Yeah, you
success.
guys kept-
I did play-by-play for the Golden Bears for about a decade. Delivered a number of national championships. It's been tough for young Yaremchuk.
It's tough.
As the play-by-play guy. They got to get it figured out for him. Or he'll never have that passion.
Yes.
That
They have to get it figured out for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You would call those. It's like for me doing Golden Bears football for 10 years or 8 years or whatever it was as well. It's like, win one for me. I call loss after loss. I think I went something like 3 years without calling a win. It was, and the one that they had in that stretch, I was gone.
Well,
So
now
it's
you're
just like,
gone, and now
damn.
they're playing for.
Oh, now exactly. Now they've kind of turned it around, which is crazy. My bad would be the way I was feeling last night. And we played we played 18-minute, two 18-minute periods, then took a break, then played two more 18-minute periods.
Yeah.
And in addition to the bad, myself and Tommy Gazzola as a D pairing, that's not what we do. Like Tommy and I aren't defensemen. We're forwards, but nobody else really wanted to play D yesterday.
That final period was like Saving Private Ryan on the beach.
So
Like,
we
it
played
was
D.
just looking around that bench, and there's guys that are
It was
moaning, keeling over.
One of our guys, with about 9 minutes left, one of our defensemen was like, "I can't play anymore.
It's fine.
My hips have given out."
Yeah.
And he was telling me the night before about how bad his hips are. He says he plays in this event and that's it, and it takes him like 3 weeks to recover. And he comes to me with 8 minutes left. He goes, "Can you guys handle the blue line the rest of the way? My hips are shutting down." I was like, "Yes, not a problem." So then he's opened the gate the rest of the way. But Tommy and I aren't defensemen. We're not defensemen. And it's just a different game back there, man.
You held your own though, the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. I don't.
Nice mix. Like he's
He's a more of a.
You're a shutdown
he's a
and
skater.
He can transport. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's like a Jared Spurgeon out there.
Yeah, Tommy Gazzola is like a Jared Spurgeon exactly, and I'm like Andy Sutton. Anyway, it was fun, but man, my legs, I was feeling it last night. I had a little bathtub and everything. It was great.
Shoveling should get you right back into
Yeah,
form
that's
today.
great too. Well, what's your ugly from the week?
Well, 3, 2, 1. The Oilers.
Well, I was gonna say the weather.
Oh,
we just haven't had this in such a long time. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
but it was nice.
My
Like the early
ugly is
start to
that
the weekend.
this winter's made me soft.
I walked to the mall Friday for our watch party in a sweater.
Oh,
Now what are we
well,
doing
that's
today?
what I mean.
Yeah. But you're right. It has kind of
It's
teased
just
you.
it's made us a little bit soft.
Yeah, this is winter. Damn it.
Like today, how many days like this do we usually have in a winter? A dozen?
You should be.
What if we had like 3? So it made me soft. I find the weather ugly, even though it's usually the norm in the winter. But yeah, the Oilers.
Well, it's an ugly weekend. You can't capped off with the Saturday night loss. I mean, losing. The Wild have had their number recently, and I'm not even talking about Jacques Lemaire days. This is like recent. Like they are a team that stifles them for whatever reason. There's a little concern going to Friday, but then you think Saturday, okay, you're getting your rival up in your barn where you have to correct things. That's the ugly part of the ugly results.
You know what might be, well, in addition to that, what might be the ugliest part of it is you let Nazem Kadri run your show.
Okay, there you go. That's
Nazem Kadri beats McDavid in a little battle near the blue line, goes in, deflects the first goal. He obviously threw a couple of the other guys off their game as well. They were trying to get to him a little bit. You let Nazem Kadri on a Saturday night come into your barn and get in your kitchen.
To a man.
How does that happen? That's unbelievable to me. If you want to chime in, 780-218-9999. That is the Paris Jewelers inbox. Let's get to Mark the Sparky. Guys, can I get a late hour conch for my son who's going to the game today and doing the Oilers pregame high five experience?
Oh, no way.
He's going to request the highest of fives from Zachary Martin Hyman. That's it from Mark the Sparky. It's a cool experience for kids, but how many men's league teams would also want to do the high five experience?
Actually, it's probably right, yeah.
They really would. They would. That would be great. All right, 6 o'clock hour in the books on TuneIn and now on iHeartRadio as well. Just search Edmonton Sports Talk on iHeart. You'll see our logo. You click on it, you follow us, and boom, just like that, you can listen on the iHeartRadio app. You can also listen at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and of course, you can watch on YouTube. Darren Dreger is traveling today, so Craig Button's going to slide in to today just after 7 o'clock. Button's got to have some good things to say about this team against the Calgary Flames for sure. Cool Bet Hotline of the day. I got a hot take on the game tonight. We'll get into that. That's a good. We're going to dive into one of the newest sensations around the National Hockey League there at 7:45. Kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many. Ryan Rishaug, Orange and Blue Breakfast, a wrap for William Huff. Lots still to come here on the Nielson Show. Let's get to a sports rewind with Lieutenant Eric.
Edmonton Oilers' 5-game homestand continues tonight against the Kings. Edmonton have dropped 3 straight following Saturday night's loss to the Flames. Tom Gazzola and YouTube Trev will get you set. They'll have the Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows, coverage starting at 6 here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the TuneIn radio app, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube. Oilers Kings won 4 games around the NHL tonight. Action from yesterday saw Nashville pick up their 5th straight win with a 4-2 victory over Anaheim, while Arizona have now dropped 12 straight. They fall in overtime 4-3 to the Jets. Rachel Homan's Team Ontario capturing the Scotties Tournament of Hearts with a 5-4 win over Jennifer Jones and Team Manitoba. It's Homan's 4th Scotties title for Jones. The loss marks her final game at the tournament after 18 appearances. Back over to hockey, where Alberta Pandas have earned the right to play for a 15th conference banner thanks to a 2-0 Game 3 win over Mount Royal in the semis. Game 1 of the 2024 Canada West Final Friday afternoon out in Vancouver. Oil Kings over Wenatchee 5-2 from Rogers Place. The club will hit the road for a pair. They'll visit the Hitmen Wednesday and the Tigers on Friday. Grand Prairie over Drumheller 4-2. Drayton Valley will host Whitecourt in the lone AJHL game tonight. In the NBA, Nikola Jokic with his 3rd straight triple-double. Nuggets over the Warriors 119-103. Raptors, they'll visit the Pacers tonight. It's one of 4 games around the NBA. And Real Madrid have reached a verbal agreement with Canadian star left-back and Edmontonian Alphonso Davies over a transfer from Bayern Munich. This according to a report from The Athletic. Davies will either join Real Madrid in 24 or 25 when his contract with Bayern expires. Sports Rewind brought to you by Universal Rewind, industrial electric motor sales and service, servicing many industries that we rely on daily, from agriculture and aggregates to food processing and industrial manufacturing. Choose expertise, experience, quality. Choose Universal Rewind.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.04 on the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Trev, you want to fire us over? Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with you.
I love the wide angle.
Yeah, you do like that high-end shot, don't you?
Video. Yeah.
You like that. You like that. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio, where the Oilers deal is come and gone, I think. All 4 Collector's Cups have now come and gone, including Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Swing on by all the Popeyes locations. Pick up the delicious chicken sandwich. If you've not yet tried it yet, what are we even doing here? You're going to love it, especially nothing. In the winter like this right now, with what we're going to hit today, warm yourself up with some Popeyes. My goodness.
You got a shovel? Give yourself a bit of a treat.
You know what? That's a great thing.
Before and after.
Treat yourself pre and post shovel.
Yeah.
Chicken sandwiches are actually so big that you could eat half of it before, go out, shovel, come back in, eat the other half.
Power yourself and then do the recover afterwards.
This is saving chicken at a Matthew Awanek level.
Popeyes will get you there.
That's outstanding stuff right there. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or hit us up in the nasty chat this morning as well. Ryan Rishaug coming up in hour number 3. We'll get your cool bet hotline of the day in this hour. That's good coming up as well. And the Edmonton Oilers get the Los Angeles Kings tonight. Los Angeles Kings rolling in with 68 points. The Edmonton Oilers with 68 points. It's a big one. It's a big one tonight. We're going to set that up. Craig Button is our NHL analyst today. Dregs is flying. Craig's going to slide in here on a Monday morning with us. Brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports and memorabilia apparel specialists. You can find them just north of the Yellowhead on St. Albert Trail on 128th Ave. Today might be a better day to shop online at proamsports.ca. Like you, they are sports nerds too. They have signings right now kicking around. They just announced them last week. Dylan Holloway, who I thought showed up nicely against the Flames on Saturday night, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So private signings with the Nuge and Dylan Holloway over at Pro-Am. Let's bring in Craig Button this morning. Craig, happy Monday. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing really well. How are you guys?
Well, we're doing fine. Oilers fan base a little rattled right now. 5-game homestand. Have lost the first 3 on the homestand, including at home Saturday night. Calgary Flames roll in here and double them up in pretty impressive fashion. Craig, do you have any takeaways from the loss to the Calgary Flames?
Well, I mean, you can't fall behind against any team in this league 3-0, and expect to climb back into the game and win it. It's just not a recipe for success. Yeah, again, but it's rare. In the first 10 games of the season, they were 2-7-1. They gave up 41 goals. In their last 10 games, they've given up 42 goals. The problem's real simple. They've stopped being committed to defense. 18 goals in 14 games during that winning streak.
Yeah.
Think of the 3 goals. McDavid gets beat to the net by Kadri on goal number 1. What Cody Ceci is doing trying to protect the boards on the second goal when Pospisil slips right inside of him. And on the third goal, Brett Kulak, I have no idea what he was doing. And so you leave the middle wide open. The middle wide open. That's 3 different players. And I'll tell you what, you're going to have all kinds of problems. And the Oilers defensively, the last 10 games, they've been just as bad as they were in the first 10.
Well, it's
weird. The Oilers fans should have an understanding of what that feeling is like, and maybe a little hope that they'll come out of it if they commit to playing defense. Well, they're terrible.
The weird thing is that it's almost like there's no middle ground. Like you talk about how great they were defensively during the winning streak, and then at the first part of the season, and now, how can there be so two drastic differences in the way a team defends?
Yeah, you know what, Dustin, and that probably is the $83 million question, because that's where the salary cap is at. And you watch how well they can play when they're committed. Toronto Maple Leafs are not much different. I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs go without Morgan Riley for 5 games. They don't lose a game. Their defensive play gets in order. Everything finds a level that they needed to find. And now they've won 7 in a row. What's the difference between them and the Edmonton Oilers? And you're right, there is no middle ground. And you watch teams play, and I know, I mean, we're talking 20 games now. So 68 games, and how many games have they played? 54 games, the Edmonton Oilers?
55.
So
55 games.
55, so sorry. 35 games they've been really good, and 20 games they've been pretty poor. I guess where I would go with this, Dustin and Eric, what team is going to show up on the first day of the playoffs?
Yeah. Well, that's what it comes down to. I mean, if they play the way that they did during the 16-game winning streak defensively, then they're going to be a very difficult out. But if they play like they've played over the last 10 games, it's going to be maybe to the second round, if that, because the first-round matchup's going to be insane if they stay where they are right now. I think what frustrates people the most is they're like, what the heck is this? Who are these guys? What is this team? Because a lot of people have been saying, you guys got to talk about Skinner. You got to talk about Skinner. I thought you just made an interesting point, and we will tie it into talking about Stuart Skinner and his play since the All-Star break, Craig. But you pointed out some glaring errors that were made by Edmonton Oilers on these goals. And I guess I know it's your goalie's job to bail them out of some of these spots. But I just don't think you can hang this goals against issue right now on Stuart Skinner. Is that unfair of me, or?
No, I don't think it's unfair of you. I think it's fair. I mean, other than the Dryden Hunt goal on Saturday, I can't really find much fault with Stuart Skinner in the game. The Hannafin second goal, that was a great pass by Zari, and no goaltender's going to stop that one. So when you consider early in the year, what was all the questions? Oh my God, they need a goaltender. Oh my God, Stuart Skinner. What's wrong with Stuart Skinner? Well, the defensive play was awful. When you're giving up 4 goals a game, you're not going to win. You're just not going to win. And, that is a fact in the NHL, and it's not going to change. You cannot win giving up 4 goals a game. And that's where the Edmonton Oilers find themselves. And I don't care who your goaltender is. You start to these problems run together. They run together. To your point, Dustin, you can look at the goals against, and that's the easy thing to do. Oh, Stuart Skinner, look at the save percentage. Yeah, I'll look at the scoring chances. I'll look at the ones. Jamie McLennan, who's a regular on the show, he always says 3 things a goaltender needs to look at. What did I need? Should have I stopped that one? Number 2, what could have I done better to stop that one? And number 3, I had no chance on that one. Those are 3 very different scenarios for a goaltender. And like I said, other than the Dryden Hunt one on Saturday night, which is in that middle category, not a should have stopped, but what could have he done better to stop it? The other 4, sorry, I don't put that on Stuart Skinner at all.
So if you're management with the Edmonton Oilers and the trade deadline now is less than 2 weeks away, if you're management with this group, are you sitting here and evaluating your team over the last 10 games? Are you looking back at the winning streak and being like, well, the pieces are here for this team to play sound defensive hockey? Because a lot of the discussion among the insiders and people in the market are, they'd like to add another top 6 forward, which is fine if you just want to win hockey games 6-5 in the playoffs. But I mean, should you be turning your concern pre-deadline to the back end of things?
Yeah, again, isn't it a great question, a conundrum? Like, I mean, you give up 18 goals in 14 games during that winning streak. You watch how well they played. I watched, they played the Calgary Flames in their previous game, and they just suffocated the Calgary Flames. They just squeezed the ice. There was nowhere for Calgary to go. Well, there was lots of places for Calgary to go on Saturday night, multiple times. I think for Ken Holland, you're looking at your team going, okay, I know we're capable. What player is going to come in and change your commitment level? I honestly really believe it's about commitment level. And I know, okay, could they benefit from a top 6 forward? I'd like to see them get heavier and harder, deeper down their lineup. I'd like carry momentum, carry the play, push the team back. I don't see enough of that from the Edmonton Oilers. When I watch the Winnipeg Jets, when they run into any type of a challenge, Niederreiter, Lowry, and Appleton come out on the ice, and they just set a different tone. And then everybody else, Edmonton, I know they're top end guys. I'm not even talking, but when those top end guys are on the ice, who's setting the tone? I don't see, and I think that's really important come playoff time.
Craig, just taking a look at the opposition tonight, Jim Hiller's LA Kings. His reign began with a 4-0 shutout of the Oilers back early February. Of course, the Kings turning it on as well, 6-2 since that time. What are the Oilers going to have to do tonight, to get back in that win column, erase all the bad things they've been doing, against the Wild, against the Flames? I know Knobloch was talking about lethargy and not the fact that they don't have good intentions, but just a little slow to get what they're doing. So what are they going to have to do tonight and bring it against Jim Hiller's Kings team, who are now getting back to where they need to be in the wild card race and even putting some pressure on the Oilers for that 3rd spot in the Pacific?
one of the best defensive teams in the league. And I think that this is almost the ideal team for Edmonton to play. You know, when you got to get back to defensive play, that's how the LA Kings are going to play. That's how they're going to be really steady and committed to playing that way. And they're not a great offensive team, the LA Kings. So if you play really good defense, you're not as vulnerable against their offense. So commit defensively. It might have to be a low-scoring game. It might have to be a 2-1, 3-1 game for them. But that might be the best thing to get them back on track. And, you know, one of the things you listen and Rick Tocchet talked about it the other day. And, hey, listen, you're through the season. You got lots of games. There's going to be fatigue that sets in. Well, then be smarter. Start and there's no way when a game starts that you're tired. Now I get Saturday night was 3 and 4 back to back at home and everything, but like, you know, I could understand running out of gas. Not at the start of the game. You can't start the way the Oilers did, and I get what Chris Knobloch's doing. He's kind of going, okay, we're a little bit fatigued. You know, we got some challenges in that area. Well, then be smarter. Then use your mental abilities more than your physical capabilities. The Edmonton Oilers did neither. The only time the Edmonton Oilers got engaged in that game was when Coleman hit McDavid, and that led to the Hyman second goal. And there was a stretch there where we were going, okay, Edmonton's going to be right there. Edmonton's going to push it. We've seen this picture before with Calgary and Edmonton, and they couldn't sustain it.
Craig, building off of this, you mentioned the start. We've been looking at second periods, and I know this team, prior to the All-Star break, during that winning streak, was doing a lot in the third to kind of get back into games and maybe steal 2 points here or there on any given nights. And somebody chimes in our YouTube Nasty Chat 40-minute efforts, and I've been kind of saying they failed to put together like a full 60 here in recent memory. So, was it Dusty said a cupcake schedule earlier, and it wasn't in terms of the opposition, but just in terms of how the schedule it was a Tuesday, Thursday, then a game on the weekend. Tuesday, Thursday, game on the weekend. This is going to get a lot more crunched now, and if you're only bringing 40-minute efforts or 25 half-hour minute efforts, that's totally not sustainable. Is it just playing 60 minutes, a full 60, and that'll get you at least close to where you want to go?
Well, there's no way you can win 16 games in a row and give up 18 goals in 14 games unless you're committed. That's not to go to the 18 goals in 14 games, 18 goals against in games. You have to be committed for 60 to get that kind of success rate. And the Oilers were committed there. You're right. The game is too hard. The teams are too good. The Calgary Flames, what are they? 1 point out of a playoff spot, and they're not a contender. Right, and you look at them. What are they? 7 points behind the Oilers, and you just look at how close the league can be on any given night. So, Eric, to your point, you know you have to go in and maybe you don't have your legs. Okay, so we're not going to take risks. We're not going to take chances. We're going to make sure that positionally we're not going to give up anything. We might not be able to join the rush like we'd like to, but we're not going to give away anything. And when your defensive play is in order, you don't have to chase goals. When your defensive play isn't in order, you're chasing goals. And that is not a recipe for success in the National Hockey League anytime.
Craig Bunn with us on the show this morning, brought to you by Pro Am Sports. Craig, before we let you go, it's such a throwback. I don't remember the last time a guy came into the league and was must-watch because he's dropping the mitts everywhere. 3 fights in 5 games for Matt Rempe. Just a huge tilt against the Philadelphia Flyers. Last night against Columbus, he took a few pretty good shots. He's a big kid, just 21 years old, 6'8". And people are like, okay, let's go. Prove yourself here. It just seems so old school, but I can't stop watching it. Like, I'm intrigued to see who he scraps next. I guess Ryan Reeves is next on the card or something like that. It's such a throwback. We haven't talked about a guy fighting his way into the league in like 10 years.
Oh, I mean, he did it right on the first shift of the outdoor game against Matt Martin, right? Like, right off the bat, we saw the fight against Delorier. His last 2 fights have not been very good. You want to take that many punches to the head, you're not. There's going to be a lot of people lining up to knock him down. It's a lot different. But you're right. He's come into the league and he's made everybody notice him. And I guess as a young player, you got to figure out what am I going to be when I come into the league, and what am I going to do, and then do it. And Matt Rempe has done exactly that. Certainly when you're tuning into a Ranger game now, you want to see what's going to happen with Matt Rempe. And in New York, you can become a cult figure on that type of play. So, and that's where he's headed. And I think he's really comfortable being that.
Yeah, it's quite the scene. We'll see how much it can continue. He's just such a big body. It feels like he took some heavy shots last night. You're like, oh my God, this kid's gonna. I mean, but he's willing. I mean, it's something we just don't see it very often anymore. So I'm kind of intrigued to see where this plays out. Craig, as always, man, really appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
Have a great day. Thanks. Stay warm.
That is Craig Button. Brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Signings with the Nuge and Holloway announced just last week. We're gonna that's good. We're gonna get into that the Rempe fight against the Philadelphia Flyers over the weekend.
Rangers Blue Jackets Wednesday from MSG.
Didn't they just play the Blue Jackets? Are they playing the Blue Jackets again?
28th, yeah, February 28th.
Is that a back?
Is it one of those schedule quirks? Is that what we're?
They were just in Columbus last night. Yeah, that was the fight he had last night.
Home and home, home and away.
Oh boy,
away and home.
When's that one? That's on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Blues, Oilers, and then Blue Jackets and Rangers. Only 2 games on the schedule Wednesday. Well, I wonder if he has another goal last night. Man. Anyway, we'll get into that. It's just, isn't it weird seeing somebody take the spotlight in the National Hockey League for fighting? It
wasn't weird growing up,
strange.
But it's weird now, yeah.
Well, like back in the day, everybody who came in the league that was a fighter had to go through this.
Sure, yeah.
Now it's just this one dude, and you're just like, look at this 21-year-old guy just fighting everybody. It stands out even. I wonder if he came in and was just like, I'm throwing it back. Like, that's it. I'm going to go and fight every other team. Like, there's not a ton of tough guys in the league anymore, but he's like, okay, I'm going to go fight them all. I'm
like an in-season king of the ring, if you will. Hey, maybe he gets a belt. They should have a belt.
He's a big dude. 6'8".
Very tall.
Just took some heavy blows last night, though. So we'll. I saw somebody reply and say, if this guy's going to keep fighting, somebody's got to teach him how to fight. But he just gets in and goes. It's it's something else. That's for sure. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or hit us up in the nasty chat this morning as well. What a look for Craig today, too, hey? Looked terrific. Morning, Zacticum. Man, you're in early. Oh, late. Oh, okay. I don't know. It's just like
I didn't know.
Somewhere in between.
This is an odd time.
It's the weather, man. It's an absolute mess up there.
Craig always looks like he's on a cruise ship.
Yes.
He's on a cruise.
Man, if you can just live your life one day at a time, you're on a cruise.
Yeah.
I am very jealous
the shirts,
of what Craig Button
the hair,
to the table, man. Like,
very relaxed.
It's outstanding stuff. So that was an interesting number. During that horrible start, they allowed 41 goals. And over the last 10 games, they've allowed 42, as pointed out by Craig Button just moments ago.
And I would respectively disagree with Craig as well. During that winning streak, there were nights where they didn't play a full. They got away with things during that winning streak. Fair to say?
Yeah. No,
and then again, you beat the teams. I get it. You beat the teams in front of you, and they won it, and that's all good stuff. But I don't think it was extremely 100% reflective of what this team is. Nor are the big losses and the lumps. And you kind of had it too with the defense and the goaltending. Is it this good or is it this bad? Probably somewhere in the middle, which we don't know yet. Define it for us, if you will. I can't.
Yeah, feel free to try to figure this team out.
Like I said earlier, maybe they are a wild card team.
I think the games in hand will still have them in the top 3.
Maybe not points, but just in terms of if they're not a consistent performer, you need to be consistent. You need to have great goaltending most nights. You need to all of these boxes, and sometimes they check them, but then sometimes they don't. So I'm just wondering, they're sitting on that fence. Points wise, yes, and with the games in hand, they should be able to. But again, last week we were talking about them tracking down the Canucks for the division, and now here we are with the Kings and them, a point separated. So,
who are the Edmonton Oilers?
Yes.
Answer that question for me. Like, was it Knobloch that kind of got them dialed in defensively, and then after a bit of time, they're just like naturally sort of just falling back into their regular defensive mistakes routine? Is that what's happening here?
The bump in the fresh system, or whatever you want to call it, only lasts so long, right? I haven't heard Paul Coffey's name mentioned in quite some time here recently.
Very quiet, I think.
That was
very quiet. And get your Cool Bet hotline of the day coming up. KR to the inbox this morning. Parachuters inbox at 780-218-9999. Maybe Matthias Janmark can give him some pointers. Matthias Janmark dropping the gloves.
Yeah, but if Matthias Janmark is him, again, what's the definition of the team then?
It is interesting that Coleman hits McDavid, leads to a goal, whatever. But Matthias Janmark was the one that went out there and was like, all right, Coleman, like, you're going to have to answer me. I don't know if there's like a list of like different weight classes and Matthias Janmark somehow fits in this little medium tier one here. But, I mean, kudos to Matthias Janmark for being the guy in a Battle of Alberta who drops his gloves and fights somebody. But I was a little bit stunned that he was the guy. Overall, there's a lot to discuss coming out of that game against the Calgary Flames. Stoney Soprano Uke is in and says the Oilers are simply playing soft right now.
Yeah, Knobloch mentioned lethargic. That's what he said post game. So, but I don't.
How are you lethargic?
Yeah, that's a reason,
the Calgary Flames on a Saturday
it's a reason,
night?
but it's far from an excuse. I get it. You were lethargic. Yeah, that's totally visible. But it's not a good reason. Not at this stage of the game, end season.
780-218-9999.
And the opponent, as you mentioned.
780-218-9999. Or you can hit us up in the nasty chat as well. La Bamba guy's in and says, they got too big for their britches during the streak, and when they came, they were on top of the world, coming back like Apollo Creed in Rocky IV just to be beaten down. He was killed. I mean, that's
we're taking it a little, yeah.
Zulu says, Jack Campbell revenge tour? Don't even mention Jack Campbell around here. Tommy Gazzola will have an aneurysm. And Tommy Gazzola has no time.
But what about when
Campbell
it's just you? What about when Tommy's not around? Can we?
Not yet. Like, I mean, watch. Craig Button said it. Like, he pointed out all the mistakes in these goals. Has Skinner's game, has it fallen off? Is this once again who Stuart Skinner is? Are you nervous about the postseason? I saw people right away last night or Saturday night on Twitter being like, well, what are you going to do? You got to get a goalie. Like, you cannot go in the playoffs with Stuart Skinner as your guy, but they are. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We saw this team. We saw them play sound defensive hockey. They are capable of it as a group. What the hell has happened recently? That's what doesn't make sense. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat.
This text, Paris Jewelers inbox. Oilers are an average team who have the ability to compete with the best, but also slum it with the worst.
See, I don't think they're average.
No, I wouldn't.
I do think they are better.
I do like the
no, I get
pendulum swinging there. Yes,
I understand the text.
They'll give you a great game and then.
But I don't think they're an average team. They're a better than average team. For a stretch there, we were for over like 40, 45 days, we were thinking they're a great team. And at the beginning of the year, we thought they were an absolute garbage team. They're somewhere in the middle, which could you say, well, then they're average. I still think they're better than average. I've always been a big, what am I? Glass half full guy.
Half full.
Hey, where's this water bottle at right now? Look at this.
There.
A little bit more than half full. All right, so that's where I'm at right now. But they just can't have games like the one against Calgary. Like that, it's that opponent. Tonight against the Kings. Thinking low-scoring game against the Kings. Like, do they tighten things down defensively against the Kings? I think that's where we go right now. It's your cool bet hotline of the day. I'll have an EST parlay up a little bit later on. We'll probably get into it on the lock shop today. You'll be able to find it in the exclusive section over at CoolBet. If you've not yet signed up for an account at CoolBet, you can use the code LOCKSHOP when you do, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to 200 smackaroos. That's at CoolBet.com.
Top penalty kill in the league with the Kings. Fourth best power play with the Oilers.
I think I like the under tonight.
Yeah.
Very rarely do we take the under. Last time I did, it backfired. I know it sounds crazy to say take the under with the Oilers right now.
No.
But, I mean, this should be a hard-fought game against the Los Angeles Kings. I'm feeling like 3-2-ish, maybe 4-2 with an empty netter. That gets us under the total. So let's make it your cool bet hotline of the day. Kings and Oilers under 6.5 goals tonight at home. Prior to this home winning streak, they'd won 8 in a row at home. Or the home losing streak before the homestand. They'd won 8 in a row. Now they've lost the first 3 of this homestand. They get the Kings and the Blues to wrap this bad
And this,
boy up.
this ain't, like, going into this homestand, this wasn't a light one by any means and by any stretch, and we saw what happened in St. Louis a week back. You're getting the Blues here Wednesday. The Wild always play them well, 4-2 on Friday. The Bruins game, we said, I mean, playoff atmosphere,
Yeah.
it's one goal, you get
That was
a point.
a crazy one.
You get a point. But Saturday night, in the midst of this homestand, you get doubled up.
They got to get back to locking things down defensively. I take the positive view on it and think maybe it happens tonight against the Los Angeles Kings, who are a pretty solid defensive team themselves. Under 6.5 goals tonight at -106. That is your cool bet hotline of the day. Coming up next, we're going to continue to get you ready for this game against the Los Angeles Kings. How big is it? I'll tell you how big this one is coming up here right away. But first, let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric for the great staff at Park Mazda.
Make the final 5-4. Rachel Homan's Team Ontario capturing the Scotties Tournament of Hearts over Jennifer Jones and Team Manitoba. It's Homan's fourth Scotties title. For Jones, the loss marks her final game at the tournament after 18 appearances. Oilers, Game 4 of a 5-game homestand tonight against the Kings. Edmonton have dropped 3 straight following Saturday night's loss to the Flames. Tom Gazon and YouTube Trev will get you set. They'll have the Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows. Coverage begins at 6 tonight here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the TuneIn Radio app, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube. Oilers Kings win 4 games around the NHL tonight. Yesterday it was Jets over the Coyotes 4-3 in overtime. The Preds, they won 5 straight following a 4-2 win over the Ducks. Alberta Pandas have earned the right to play for a 15th conference banner thanks to a 2-0 game through in Vermont Royal in the Canada West semifinals. Game 1 of the 2024 Canada West final Friday afternoon in Vancouver. Golden Bears hockey coming up just short. They dropped Game 3 of their Can West semis to UBC 4-0 yesterday. Oil Kings over the Wenatchee Wild 5-2 from Rogers Place. Oil Kings hit the road for a pair. They'll visit the Hitmen Wednesday and the Tigers on Friday. Grand Prairie over Drumheller 4-2 in AJ action. Drayton Valley will host Whitecourt tonight in the lone game. Nikola Jokic with his third straight triple-double, leading the Nuggets over the Warriors 119-103. The Raptors will visit the Pacers tonight in one of 4 games around the NBA. Sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, including dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who will be in attendance tonight at the Oilers-Kings game.
If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki in a tuxedo t-shirt because it says, like, he wants to be formal, but he's also here to party too.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Yo, YEG. Let's kick it. Ice District. Ice District. Alright, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice District open, here's what you're missing. Rogers Place, shining so brightly. Get your tickets, watch McDavid nightly. Can he be stopped? Yo, I don't know. Give him the puck and he'll go to the extreme. Nothing but a sick handle around the D, man, make him look like Yandel. Damn, game over, the night looms. No more 1/18th and poisonous mushrooms. Surprise, it's a new winter garden. I mean Ford Hall, I beg your pardon. Love it or hate it, you better get going. Ice District's the bomb and it's just exploding. If there was a problem, yo, he solved it. You're on the hook while Kate's just profits. Ice District. Ice District.
Ice District set to host the Oilers and the Kings tonight. Nielson Show songs brought to you by our partners at Sportball. Visit sportball.ca today. They've got information on the summer camps and everything that they've got going on over there right now. You can find those at sportball.ca. And all of our songs, maybe tomorrow we'll be playing 4 or 5 of them. It'll be brought to you by Sportball. Your kids are going to absolutely love Sportball, for sure. Summer programs are now posted, and hop on there. I mean, it's time to start planning. We're already planning for a bunch of stuff with our kids in the summer. Get through spring, got some spring plans, then into summer plans.
Well, it's never too
We're always
early.
planning with kids.
It's never too early.
Well, yeah, it's never too early.
Like it's
No,
what would be something that's too early to plan? You can't. Give me an answer.
Earlier you plan it, the better it becomes. And that's why we say plan things for your kids. Plan for the future of your children. With Sportball. www.sportball.ca.
Put that on the website banner.
We're going to get to That's a Good coming up here around 7:45 today. 3 questions too many. Kind of easy trivia. We got orange and blue breakfast. Ryan Rishaug with a Monday morning Got Your Back mandate. Scheduled pop by around 8:25 today. And we'll find out what Shoggy thinks about the performance against the Calgary Flames on Saturday. And, your thoughts on it as well today. 780-218-9999. Or in the nasty chat this morning, Do Fish Peas over in the nasty chat says, hey, McDavid, score. It's a good point.
Running him out of town, are we?
It's wild because he's just banging out assist after assist after assist after assist. But he's not scoring, and he's passing up some really good spots to shoot in, which is it's weird to me. Last year he was shooting the puck a ton. This year he's on pace to shoot like 100 shots less than he shot last year.
Tougher game. It's the tougher game that he's implementing. You can't have it all. You
can't be second on the team in hits and also score goals.
You cannot do that all. And maybe we all know it's tough to score when you're sick. And somebody texts in saying, I've heard that there is a bug going through the room.
Well, you don't need to say you've heard. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins missed a game because he was sick.
Well, he goes on to say it's why Nuge was sick.
Yeah. Well, bug in the room would be why Nuge is sick. Sure. All right. Then everybody's fine.
Reason, not excuse.
Everybody calm down. Yeah. They're just sick. There, good enough. Done. Move on. Yeah. Play the Kings tonight. Hopefully they're not sick. If they're sick, they'll lose. If they're healthy, they'll win. There you go. That's taken care of. But there was a couple of times in that game where McDavid had clear lane to shoot. I remember the one specifically. He was coming in. It was kind of like a tighter spot. Like it wasn't an odd man rush. It was in the zone. But he had a straight line to shoot. And he tried to backhand sauce one over to Hyman. And I get feed Hyman. I mean, feed Hyman all day. Guy's having a phenomenal season. He was the best player on the ice in that game. But, I mean, it was right there. There was nothing between McDavid and the net. He tried to pass it through a Calgary Flame defender over to Zach Hyman. I think McDavid, from an offensive perspective, from a shooting perspective, just needs to probably simplify it a little bit. And who are we to tell the most talented hockey player in the history of the game? But you watch the game, you're like, why do you keep passing through people when you could just shoot it?
You know why?
It's weird to me.
Because when you're sick, you don't think straight.
That must be it.
So you're not.
That must be it.
A logical decision that you would make when you're healthy doesn't come about when you're sick and you're
straight up sniffles up in here.
Well, you're kind of maybe it's a stomach thing and it connects with the brain and.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I don't know. We're trying to.
Maybe that's what
we're trying here, but
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Stony Soprano Yukon says the friggin' power play is a passing clinic right now.
Well, somebody also asks what the hell happened to the PK. Also think the Oilers are short leadership more than defense, offense, or goaltending.
Oh, boy.
We've waded into these waters this morning.
Spencer Jelena in and says, is the crowd not yelling shoot loud enough? That's a good point. Maybe this is on you going to these games in the homestands.
Yeah, that's a good point,
Start yelling shoot louder. That'll go over really well. Austin's in and says, I know the play. He had his choice of where to pick the corner, and he threw it away. Dreisaitl's had that a few times as well lately. Yeah, I don't know. Just start shooting the puck more. Anyway, is this taking it too far? Here's my statement on this game. They've not been good over the last 10 games. They are 0-2-1 on this 5-game homestand. Like at this point, all you can do is salvage the homestand. That's it. If you win the next 2 games, you get 5 of a possible 10 points. Congratulations. You played 500 at home. Not good enough. But I think tonight's hockey game is a must-win game for the Edmonton Oilers. I know in the standings there's a long way to go. I understand all of that. But for the mental sanity of this team, the bounce back after a loss to the Calgary Flames, the fact that you're 0-3 to start the homestand, haven't been able to win one just yet, the fact that it's the Los Angeles Kings, they must win this game tonight, or else I think things could even start to unravel a little bit more. This is a huge game tonight.
Well,
against the Los Angeles Kings. And I don't know. I don't want to be throwing around all these must-wins all the time. But this feels like a pretty, like Leon Draisaitl after the last game. Yeah, I took a selfish penalty. It was a stupid penalty. Okay, do something about it. Come out tonight and have a game. I don't care if you're on McDavid's line or not. Go out and have yourself a game. So, to me, this is a must-win tonight. If they come out tonight and lose again at home to the Los Angeles Kings, I think the bells, the sirens are going to be ringing for a lot of people.
They dropped to a wild card team again. That's how the Kings vault back into that third spot. And again, we're a week removed away from chasing down the division with the games in hand. The Preds have won 5. A week goes by and get a little busy there on that great divide between third and the div and the top wild card team. And right now, the Kings again tonight, as you mentioned, depending on how this goes, it's a 4-point night.
4-point night.
4-point night.
A huge 4-point game. Huge 4-point game. Zulu in the nasty chat says this could fall off real bad.
No.
If they lose tonight.
And the Blues, again, chugging right behind as well. 5-5 in their last 10, but trying to sniff down a wild card spot as well. And we saw how they handled them a week ago in St. Louis. Get well soon, right? We want you to get well.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody needs to get
I don't know.
Somebody get these guys some salt water to gargle.
Neocitrin, yeah.
Yeah. You know what the others need tonight?
Get at it.
Neocitrin and naps today.
Yeah,
if that's the case. But if they drop this one, then if you lose tonight, the homestand's an absolute disaster. Who cares if you beat St. Louis? Congratulations, you won 1 of 5 at home. Like they have to have this tonight. Because if they don't, we saw what happened at the beginning of the year. Right? You started to lose, it started to pile up, and what happened to this team's confidence? Right down the gutter. And what had to happen for it to come back around? Jay Woodcroft had to lose his job for this team to get back on track. Well, they're not firing another coach now, right? That's not happening.
And that's RJ says, too. Not too many other top teams have these kinds of wild swings in a year, let alone 3 times now. If it's not leadership, what could it be? And you just said they've done the coaching thing, right? Like, we've seen this in years past, too. When things get a little tough, shoulders slump and heads drop. And that's not, it's very easy to do that. That's a natural reaction, but that's not what you need from leadership or your top. You need the opposite in these moments, right? You're crying out for something more, somebody to take control of the situation. And a lot of times you just don't see that.
780-218-9999. It's the Paris Jewelers inbox. You could win text of the day for A&W if you come in with something hilarious, which would go a long way today. They got the spicy Piri Piri buddies kicking around right now. Spency 5 cents, he says, this is at least a must not lose bad game.
Okay.
That might be a little bit of a better take than the must win, but I don't think I'm going too far. Like, I'm not saying it's a must win or they're going to fall out of the playoffs and all this stuff. I'm just saying for the confidence of this team and going into the next 3 or 4 weeks here, or let's just say between now and the trade deadline, you got to wrap up these 2 points.
You're in a wild card spot if you lose tonight. We were talking about chasing down the division. I'm sorry, and I'm with stylistic wins and losses. There are times too when I feel that if as long as you don't get spanked, or if it's a tight game, or maybe you get a point or something, you let them get 2 tonight. You're back in that wild card 1. And again, as I mentioned, you're losing to teams in and around that wild card 2 spot right now, which would leave me being more concerned about the future to come. But I'm not taking any stylistic loss tonight. And somebody in the nasty chat here, like who sets the tone early? Who's coming? Is it Matthias Janmark?
No, it'll be Connor McDavid again.
Okay, well,
Connor McDavid sets the tone for the team because
prove it to me though.
Nobody else is really capable of what you're going to get from Hyman. But when was the last time a Draisaitl line without McDavid on it went out and set the tone for this team in a hockey game? When he had McLeod and Fogle on the line? Is that really the last time? It might be.
I think so.
It might be. 780-218-9999. Machine Gun Janmark says, we will see what they're made of tonight. I'd treat the next 2 weeks as auditions for who stays for the playoffs if I was management. Yeah, but this is the thing. So for the next 2 weeks, 4 guys don't play well. You're not going to be trading all these guys before the deadline. Who's going to want guys before the deadline that aren't playing well? So, yeah, you have to use this to assess things. We'll have Darren Dreger hopefully on the show tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. Noodles might have to slide in tomorrow. Figure it out. But the Oilers, and we can get into it with Rishaug maybe a little bit today as well, depending on how much time we have. But Like, the Oilers aren't going to make a trade now because the longer they wait up until the trade deadline, the more cap space they will have at the trade deadline because they're running that short roster, so they're just accruing cap space right now. So I would be surprised if anything, unless it's a real sweetheart deal, I'd be surprised if we see anything from the Oilers prior to, like, the day of the deadline.
The 11th hour?
Or maybe, like, the night before the deadline. I just, I don't know. So you got to have time to evaluate things, and I know it's like you want a top 6, you want a bottom 6, you want to upgrade on D, you want to upgrade on goaltending somehow. That's great. I mean, everybody wants. I want $1 million. It's not possible to get all of those things. Toon says, the driving cat says, if you're auditioning, he would assume going back to that other message, auditioning over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you're auditioning, you're not a legitimate Stanley Cup team, which is a completely fair statement because legitimate Stanley Cup contenders who, for the last 6 weeks, I've been saying they are, and I even though we've seen what we've seen for the last 10 games, I still put them in that category of contender. But I mean, are people looking at the Florida Panthers right now and going, they need 4 things? No. People aren't looking at the Florida Panthers saying they need 4 things. People are like, yeah, and Panthers might want to add a defenseman or something like that. Like,
might want to.
It's different.
You have the freedom and the levity to go, you know what? Maybe we'll take a chance on something here and shop. If not, that's okay too.
Rod Z slides in and says, hit the panic button after the Kings kick our ass tonight. I just don't see it. I don't see the Oilers getting run up at home by the Kings right now. And if they do, then something's up. Like with the team. Like I don't understand it. You can't give up 6 against the Calgary Flames at home on a Saturday night when you've already dropped 2 games on a homestand and then go have the Kings do the same thing to you. I think this team's better than that.
So that's the bottom.
I think the Oilers,
Saturday was the bottom. That's a bottom out.
I think they win a tight, low-scoring game tonight. And you know, if they lose 7-4, then slide on in here tomorrow and come after me. It's fine. I don't care. I don't care either way. But I hope for their sake and Knobloch's sake, they can dial it back in here a little bit defensively against a Kings team that isn't overly dangerous offensively.
And Paul Coffey's sake as well.
And Paul Coffey's sake, too.
We were
obviously
glowing over him in the defensive structure.
Nurse doesn't make his pairing partners better like Ekholm does. Guys, does this team have any kind of 7th defenseman? Van Owen, the answer now is no. Like, they legitimately don't have one. So if they are sick and one of those guys is sick, they're just going to have to play anyway because of the cap situation. And they don't want to call anybody up because it would take away the cap space that they're trying to save towards the deadline. So they're going to continue to run with what has been the healthiest blue line, has to be the healthiest blue line in the National Hockey League all year. They've lost like 3 man games the entire season. I mean, the only way a blue line's been more healthy than the Oilers' blue line is by literally not missing a game so far this season. I would think if they do not add a defenseman prior to the trade deadline, Philip Broberg's can be your guy. Down the stretch as a 7, into the playoffs as a 7. Sliding in, Broberg, by all accounts, has been looking very good in the American Hockey League. But Broberg has looked good in the American Hockey League before. And we haven't seen it just click just yet here. Maybe this time it does. So you hold out hope on that front.
A text from the Propane Pimp, just to switch gears. My God, people, relax. They are 0-2-1 in their last 3. Defense is a mindset. It's not necessarily personnel. Goaltending is generally a product of team defense. So a counterpoint to the
so what Propane Pimp is saying, if they start playing defense again, they'll be fine.
Sure, they'll be fine.
Which is fine.
It's all fine.
I completely agree with
that.
it.
This is, but it's not simple as just it's a switch that they turn on and turn off at their levity here.
Jason is in and says, sub 900 save percentage since the break. Goalie's getting a free pass? Nobody's getting a free pass. Stuart Skinner certainly needs to be better. But you watched the game. Tell me you watched the game on Saturday and go, they lost that game because of Stuart Skinner. Did Stuart Skinner steal one for them and win that game for them? Of course not. But did they lose that game to Calgary because of Stuart Skinner? I'm going to politely disagree with anybody who says that is, in fact, why they lost that game to Calgary. That's not why they lost the game to Calgary.
And I think on the flip side of the Skinner argument, how many games has he outright stolen and how many points has he come away stealing this year? And that's where the good to the great thing happens, right? Maybe you could have a night like last night. However, if Skinner would have stolen your 4 points earlier or something along those lines. Good, not great.
Johnny Alberta responds, telling Oilers fans to relax counts as a hot take.
No, and that's why you had to read it. My God, people, relax. Could have stopped the text there.
5 wins, 6 losses since Corey Perry. Coincidence? I think there's more there. I mean, they won that one, kept the streak going with them. And then, like, when you watch the games, is Corey Perry the reason they're not defending well? Like, everybody, even when he's not on the ice, is that the reason? No. Now, could you use the excuse that the team had gelled really nicely and everything was clicking and you just sort of, mixed up the mix by bringing in Corey Perry? Sure, if you want to make that case, you can. But Corey Perry's done a lot of good things for this team. Like, Corey Perry's been exactly what you expected, probably even better for this team. So I would think, they're 5-6 since they got Perry because they're not defending well. They're not 5-6 since they got Perry because they got Perry.
Well, I think for the people trade scenarioing half the team away and building another half of a team prior to the deadline, if that's the case, that ain't going to work either. If the addition of one player is going to screw up some sort of chemistry.
Van Owen says Skinner's high glove side hasn't been great lately. It's been targeted. We talked about this. A little bit ago, multiple times on Edmonton Sports Talk. Skinner is a guy that you can beat high, and when you get to a playoff series and the team's playing him every single night, I do worry a little bit about them finding weaknesses like that on a regular basis. And this text isn't wrong. It says Knobloch has turned the blender on like Woody. And he has. I mean, for the longest time when things are going well, Knobloch left everything the way it was. And now we're seeing quite a few changes as they try to get back. I mean, you could just try to run it back to what you had before. But now you got Corey Perry to slide in there. But Corey Perry's an upgrade on what they have in the bottom 6. He just is. I mean, there's no way the addition of Corey Perry should all of a sudden make your team play like this. That's just not. That's a bogus take.
Answering the bell, right? When needed.
Skinner did let in a couple of bad ones on Saturday, but we know he can be good. We know the whole team can be good. The Oilers are fine. Let's take a deep breath. We know Knob is taking all the deep breaths right now.
Good, not great.
Yeah, I think everybody got so spoiled during the stretch of 24 and 27 that were won that you kind of just expected this team to continue to play at like a 750, 800 clip, which was never realistic. What they need to do is they need to settle into like a 620, 630 clip, which they've not been doing the last 10, 11 games, which is why everybody's frustrated. All right, let's get into a segment that we launched last week on the show for the Italian Center Shop, and it is called That's Good. That's a good. And what was good last week was the paninos that we had, and my goodness, those things lasted us the entire bloody week. They're gone now.
Well, yeah.
Who ended up? Did you take one on Friday? We had so many.
I sure did. I ordered us to. He was getting very upset that.
Well, we did. You couldn't have them go to waste.
They cannot. No, well, that's just it. So he wanted to give them a home. So I said to one of the patinos, "You're going to live with me now."
You're going to live with me now. Yeah, I'm going to take care of you. Because I love you.
That's what you said to the panino.
I did. And then I moved it with the.
Well, these things are so massive. I just don't think I can sit down in one go with a panino and eat the entire
they come
thing.
cut in half.
Yes.
You take that half, then you cut that in half. You can even cut that into 3s if you want.
We had it in 4s the other day.
I had the final. My wife had a half. I had half of a half, and then the last half of the half I had was after Hudson's Bourbon Street.
Did you hit that
Friday
when you got
night.
home?
That was my
lucky guy.
Kiss to the week. It was nice.
That's really nice.
They taste good in the morning. They taste good in the afternoon. They taste good for supper. They taste good after a night out. Anytime, hot or cold.
House-made baguette, topped with olive oil, oregano, roasted red pepper spread. That's where you get the kick on that roasted red pepper
That's where
spread.
they get you,
And then they got the meats. They got the cheeses. It's just that good.
The cheese is great.
It's just that good.
And treat yourself. Stop in. Dine in. You can dine in, get a little table, have a little glass of house red, if you will, and they'll make up one of their mini pizza flavors for you right there. It's great.
I want to see people rolling in there and just hanging around the deli.
Yeah.
Like in the back there, just go in and just hang around the
You
deli.
don't take a number.
You see the various meats they have in this deli? It's insane.
Sir, have you taken a number? No.
So do you have a number? Did you get a number? I didn't get it.
Just hanging out.
You know a place is good when they got to dish out the number thing, right?
Yeah. I had
It's
an
like,
incident over the weekend with the number thing, actually.
Add-
Not nothing bad. It was good. It was good. I was at a bakery. And I
Okay.
took a number. And I was like, 72. And they're like, 48. And I was like, oh, my. But they didn't. But, you know, it goes.
It
It
moves on
goes. You look
quickly.
around. And then 5 numbers aren't there. Boom, bam. You're at the top of the queue. And
It's like when you go to one of those medical centers to get a piss test or something, and you take it and you sit down and you're like, oh, I'm number 91. And you look up on the board. It's like, now serving 37. Oh, but I've been saving my pee for weeks. You know, that's a tough look. That's a tough look. Anyway, on That's Good today for the Italian Center Shop. We got to get to this scrap from the weekend. Delorier and the new kid on the block, Matt Rempe. This is a straight, like, it's weird with where hockey's at now because I'm watching it and I'm feeling bad for this kid. Like, he's 21, he's fighting his way into the National Hockey League, but you see all this stuff. Like, now I'm sure he's not going to have to fight in 60 to 70% of his games like he has coming into the league. But, you know, other guys who still deem themselves tough guys in the National Hockey League, and they're few and far between, they're going to want to go at this kid, and he seems like a very willing combatant. So let's take a look. If you're listening on iHeart or on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you will hear the play-by-play here. But if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to watch this tilt. This might be the best fight that I've seen in the National Hockey League in the last 10 years. This is ridiculous. Let's watch this thing.
The rookie Will Cooley. And we have the possibility of a heavyweight battle right here. Delorier and Rempe sizing each other up. This started in warm-up. Just thinking that, reminiscent of the old days in this rivalry.
Well, that being said, I mean, as a play-by-play guy there, you probably got to call the fight.
Oh, where's
the play-by-play man just kind of stopped and watched with everybody.
Where's Dick Venerette when you need him?
Which
eh?
I
He would
kinda
have been.
get.
Venerette would be calling that blow for blow. eh?
My goodness. But that's a modern day heavyweight tilt that you just don't see anymore. And I feel a little weird about it because of where the conversation is with fighting in the National Hockey League. But that's a good tilt. That's a good fight. And he had another fight again yesterday against Columbus, man. And Olivier landed some heavy blows on this Rempe kid. And he just kind of kept plowing ahead. But that's, the chin on this kid is something else. But, he keeps fighting like this all the time. Dude's going to get hurt for sure. Like, he is fighting a ton. It was just so weird. It was just so weird to see, like, two heavies square off. You're like, oh, man, like, this is happening. It's like the others have a few guys who can scrap. Like, is Rempe Matthias Janmark? Hell no. You see what Matthias Janmark did? That's very impressive with Matthias Janmark. But, the others have a few guys who will scrap. But they don't got the old heavy now that's going to go out there and play 5 minutes. Not many guys do. But I got sucked into it again. You
know what the Rangers are, though? Top of the Metropolitan Division.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you gotta get
stick
toughness.
that in your pipe and smoke it.
You gotta get some toughness there.
You gotta be tough.
Philadelphia Flyers.
It's a tough league.
Top three in the division as well.
There you go. Yeah.
Some toughness.
With the analytic Darling Hurricanes right smack dab in the middle between the two.
I didn't realize they didn't really call the fight.
No.
This guy, I don't know. Like, I would have been losing my mind calling that fight.
Let the crowd take it over.
That was insane. No, it was we enjoyed it enough just watching it. But as we're watching to it, I was like, what happened to the play-by-play guy here? That was a little strange. D. Whiteson says Delorier was giving up 7 inches. Well, a lot of guys are going to give up 5, 6, 7 inches against a 6'8", 21-year-old. Played for Spruce Grove in the AJ before going to Seattle in the dub.
People want the Janmark fight. Run the Janmark fight.
Janmark came in hot. I mean, good for Matthias Janmark, man. Like I thought Matthias Janmark, like for a bottom six that doesn't move the needle much. For Janmark and Dylan Holloway, I thought Dylan Holloway was really good against the Calgary Flames. Even Holloway was trying to stir things up. Whereas Ryan McLeod's like that meme of that guy is like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I don't know, just standing around. That's how I imagine him in the battle. But that was kind of a playoff-style physicality game. And you see who's made for the playoffs, and you see who's not. And I think we know who's not made for the playoffs on the Edmonton Oilers. Sorry for the hot take, but it's pretty obvious. I want to see more of Dylan Holloway in a game like that. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Zedmo says, lay off Clowder. That's right. The last thing you want to do is get him physically engaged in something. I mean, come on. Hit somebody. A number of times, Ryan McLeod could have finished a check against the Calgary Flames, and he just doesn't. It's not in his DNA. That's why, it's frustrating because there's a lot there with that player. There is. You just kind of, in some of the spots, you just want a little bit more. Or I do, at least. I mean, maybe some of you are fine that Ryan McLeod literally wants nothing to do with the physical side of the National Hockey League. I just don't know how you can be. If you want to play kind of easy trivia this morning, fire us a text right now, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. All right, that's 780-218-9999. If you want to play kind of easy trivia, all you have to do is text YouTube Trev right now and say, hey, man, I want to play kind of easy trivia. And he will pick one of you. You will play today. We've got a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual for $25. If you want to come get that, you just need to get 3 to 5 correct on trivia. You will win the gift certificate. Coming up here in hour number 3, we will get to 3 questions too many. We'll get to your orange and blue breakfast to get you ready for the Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings tonight. And Ryan Rishaug is going to join us with the Monday morning Got Your Back mandate. We will continue to get to that one in hour number 3. Once again, if you want to play kind of easy trivia this morning, 780-218-9999. If you're looking for work, visit ClayburnServices.com. Rick's got more on that coming up. They're hiring right now.
Oilers, Game 4 of a 5-game homestand tonight against the Kings. Edmonton have dropped 3 straight heading into tonight. Tom Gazzola and YouTube Trev, they'll get you set. They'll have your Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows. Coverage beginning at 6 o'clock here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the TuneIn Radio app, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube. Oilers Kings, one of 4 games around the NHL tonight. Rachel Humman's Team Ontario capturing the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, defeating Jennifer Jones and Team Manitoba 5-4. For Homan, it's her 4th Scotties title. For Jones, the loss marks her final game at the tournament after 18 appearances. Alberta's Pandas Hockey have earned the right to play for a 15th conference banner. They pick up a Game 3 win over Mount Royal, 2-0 your final. Game 1 of the Can West final will go Friday afternoon out in Vancouver. Golden Bears Hockey, they come up just short, dropping Game 3 of their Can West semis to UBC. 4-0. Oil Kings over Monachi, 5-2 from Rogers Place. The club are on the road for a pair this week, visiting the Hitman Wednesday and the Tigers on Friday. Grand Prairie doubling up Drumheller 4-2 in AJHL action. Drayton Valley will host Whitecourt in the lone game tonight. Raptors will visit the Pacers tonight, one of 4 games around the NBA. Last night it was Nikola Jokic with his 3rd straight triple-double, leading Denver over the Warriors 119-103. Sports update for Clayburn Services. Take your career to the next level with Clayburn Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.clayburnservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call, 780-910-6728.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
4. It is the Nielson Show, uninterrupted, right here and only here on Edmonton Sports Talk, streaming on TuneIn, streaming at edmontonsportstalk.com, streaming on YouTube, and of course, now, as of this morning, we welcome iHeartRadio to the Edmonton Sports Talk family. You can find us on the free iHeartRadio app. Download it to your device today. Pops up super easy, smooth playing. Set it up on the vehicle on the way in. You can listen crystal clear sports talk every single morning right here with Edmonton Sports Talk. We've got the Hangout coming up later on today. That'll get rolling at 9 o'clock this morning. Followed by the Lock Shop, myself and Huss. We diving into this Oilers and Kings game, recapping the weekend in the National Hockey League. And then the Oil Stream, Tommy Gazzola. It is a game day. Tommy will be at practice and then be joining me on the Oil Stream from his home studio. So we'll have that for you coming up at noon today. And then tonight, the Times pregame get rolling for Mr. Gazzola?
6 o'clock. 7:30 puck drop tonight, Or shortly thereafter, I think?
Yeah. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock pregame show with Tom and YouTube, Trev, and Matt Cassian. So all of that here today at Edmonton Sports Talk. All right, who is going to play Kind of Easy Trivia today? Who do we got, Trev?
Today we have Casual Chris.
All right, Casual Chris is going to play Kind of Easy Trivia today. Looking to get his hands on a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. The casualest place ever. You want to go in there in sweats? You can go in there in sweats if you want. Shorts even. Maybe not today. It's in the Hampton Inn, corner of 137th Ave, Mark Messier Trail. Nielsen recommendation. Classic Mike burger. Can't go wrong. And the fries at Mr. Mike's are next level. Love these things. Also, they got 6 o'clocker lager on tap because it's delicious. So that's great at Mr. Mike's. All right, let's go to, you say Casual Chris? All right, let's go to Chris. Chris, good morning. You ready to play?
I think so. I hope so anyway.
I think so. Uh-oh. Doesn't sound overly confident. Let's see what happens. I will start the ticker after I read the first question. Good luck, man. Here we go. How many goals did the Edmonton Oilers allow on Saturday night?
6.
Name an Oiler who got in a fight on Saturday.
The TFC Anmar.
Who do the Oilers play tonight?
LA King.
Which former Oiler is a goalie on the Kings?
Cam Talbot.
Rachel Holman won what curling event last night?
The Saudis.
Yes. 5 for 5.
And he got it! That is why I did it! That's number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am! Get it right!
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a peddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Ooh, you better believe that's a peddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a peddling.
The first year we took it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today. You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
8:08 on a game day. The Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings tonight. 68 points in the standings for both of these clubs, and we will see where they go. Hey, congratulations to Casual Chris, man. Well done. 5 for 5.
Big
Even
Monday
mixed
dub.
in a little curling answer at the end there.
he knew.
I kind of threw him off a bit, but you had to think the Scotty's answer was coming, right?
He knew.
All right.
Smart man.
That's good.
That's a sports fan right there, I'd say. Hey?
Do you do sports, bro?
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
He does. He deals in
Casual
sports.
Chris, more like Sports Chris. That's how good he's looked. 780-218-9999. Hit us up in that Paris Jewelers inbox. Let's pound that box this morning. Hey, and if you're watching on YouTube, give us the thumbs up. Hammer a thumbs up there. Let's get those thumbs up flying in there. And if you've not yet subscribed to our channel, please do. And many of you consume the content without subscribing to the channel. And politely asking today that maybe you subscribe to the channel. I think that'd be nice. Hit 7,000 subs last week. Joining iHeartRadio today, which is really exciting for us. And kind of checked all the boxes that I think we wanted from a content.
You were back on the Bear this morning.
Yeah, I was on the Bear with the boys today with Yukon and
boys?
McCord talking sports. Good to catch up with those clowns again. That was a good time.
Oh, you guys!
And
that morning zoo. Hey, you guys are all.
Oh, it's great.
Toilet jokes and all that stuff. Hey,
Look at me being back on FM radio.
Yeah.
All right. No, honestly though, I mean, Yuka McCorder, they're our buddies.
Well, yeah.
They're good guys.
Yeah. Jess.
We had a good thing when I was on the show over there, so I'm happy to rekindle that again. And yeah, Jess is one of our best friends.
You should just phone into her drive show now randomly.
I should, hey, Jess. I Wannick should, for sure.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Wannick used to do sports in the afternoon.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
That's a good point.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, that one
they get along quite well.
Yeah, no, I thought it was good. So it was nice talking sports with the boys again today. That was a lot of fun. Ryan Rishaug coming up. Orange and Blue Breakfast coming up for Mobile One Blue Water Lubricants. But let's get into 3 questions too many right now for the great staff at Park Mazda. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment?
Yes, I do. 3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, including dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who has now opened up the, before it was just, you could only listen to TuneIn radio at the dealership. Now it's TuneIn plus the iHeart. So, Park Mazda, your dealer for life. And only having the TuneIn or the iHeart options at their dealership.
Yeah, it's great now with the phone connected in my truck, in my GMC Sierra Elevation that I got at Park Mazda.
That you almost locked yourself out of.
Yes, well, we'll get to that again because I got a bone to pick with you, Mitch. Anyway, I just put the phone in, connects automatically on Bluetooth, and I'm right there on the dashboard. Got the iHeart app, got the TuneIn, I got all our options there, right there. Boom, click, listen.
Easy.
Done. Perfect. Static free, no issues. It's 2024, people. This is how content's going to be consumed for the next 30 years.
Maybe you do iHeart on the even days of the week, tune in on the odds, and then you switch it up the following week or something like that. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. I mean, however you feel
need.
free.
Lots of flavors.
iHeart's our new partner, though.
Yes.
And so you got to download that app for sure, and then you got the option. You can figure
Keep your
out
options.
whichever one you love more.
Yeah.
It's
good to have.
It's nice. Do you have a Twitter account?
I do.
What is it?
It's at Lieutenant_Eric. You can follow me on Twitter. A little bit of news on Alphonso Davies' health as of late and how he may be factoring in later next week. Also, just everything from the weekend. I know you had a great photo of the coaching staff from Team EST at the heavy hockey charity game yesterday. You got Iwanek there, kind of the young vocal assistant, but then head coach Pete, very stoic on the bench,
so
although
good.
you don't want to cross coach Pete. You know this as a player, right? He kind of a man of few words, but carries a big stick. Fergie, who unfortunately has apologized this morning as well, he had a big, amazing suit that he was going to wear, didn't do it. He said he played the old man, he just wore his clothes to keep warm, and then myself bringing up the rear, but it was a great bench. I mean, we totally outnumbered their bench 4-0. They didn't have anybody running the ship over there. Maybe that was the key. Maybe we overthought this thing too much, eh? Too many cooks in the kitchen. When it's all said and done.
Maybe that's what it was.
They were playing free and fancy, and
it was a great time, though. Man, it was a lot of fun yesterday.
Yeah. Money raised.
Rob Clark came down, sang the anthem. That was nice. They're going to end up raising, probably around $45,000. I got a 50-50 that's still going. I know everybody's like, oh, we all love 50-50s. Let's be honest. A lot of you only love the Oilers 50-50. We got lots of other 50-50s out there that support local sports programs and things like that. So this is a good 50-50 for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. I thought Matthew Wanek totally came out of his shell as a coach. I've known Matty for like 15 years. I've never seen him take a leadership role like that ever, where he's like gathering guys around. He's got his foot on the edge of the bench. He's in his tie, and he's calling out shots. And it really was. It was like head coach Pete was like the calm presence.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't say much, sat there, chewed his gum. And then when we called timeouts, it was Wanek who got in there. He had that folded up piece of paper that he'd pull out, and he'd be like this. Fergie making remarks down at the end of the bench.
Well, it was
a nice staff. It was a nice staff. You were there. This guy was our personal trainer, basically, and you had gum for the boys.
No massages, but 4 packs of cinnamon gum, which my taste buds still have not recovered. I was getting a little stomach sick near the end of the game as well. But the thing with Matty Iwanek is he had that Dutch Master cigar. And that was his final. He had a lot of things up his sleeve. And actually, he started the game. I don't know if you saw this. When he took to the bench, all he did was stare daggers at the officials. He stared at He stared him down. The officials are on the other side of the ice by the boxes, and they're kind of looking over. Matty just stared at them the entire time during warm-up, and I think set the tone from there. But he what was it, second game, I think they came out, they scored 3 or 4 off the hop. He calls a timeout. And he's like, I'm going to do the cigar thing. Like, if you want to wrap your lips around this Dutch Master, and he whips out a Dutch Master out of his jacket, we're all going to have a puff off this victory cigar.
He's acting like it's a $900 cigar.
He goes, this is what's on the line, and everybody's kind of like, that's it. And then he looks at me, so the timeout ends, they go and score 2 more goals, and he looks at me and goes, that's all I had. He goes, that was it?
That was the last
he's like,
play.
well, I mean,
he was very quiet the rest of the game.
He did
when we were down 7-2, I'm looking down the bench, I'm like...
It was,
Yeah, and then when we were down 9-7 with 2 minutes left, I was out on the ice, on the blue line, and I turned and I looked at him, and I was just like, I'm thinking like timeout, pull the goalie, get a line out here, let's come back in this game because we're down 9-7. But we used the timeout because of the 3-0 start. And Maddie's looking at me, he's like, we got no timeout. I was like, well, we should probably pull the goalie at some point. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I mean, we were undermanned. That other team was pretty stacked.
Oh, they had some ECHL players on there. I will not. They were a few. This is like Homer at the bat, The Simpsons, when Mr. Burns has the slow pitch team for the power plant. I mean, you got Griffey's here, you got Ozzie Smith's there.
We had Tommy and I totally miscast, and we were playing defense. It was a little bit of a mess.
We'll learn.
I'm putting the call out right now to Cass and Belsey.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys are going to be joining us on things, we're going to need you for that game. We got to bring us some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
We got to bring us some heavy hitters next year to bounce back.
Really, the goalie was Gator Hockey, right? To whoever was in it.
Yeah, he was
Gator
great.
Yeah, he was a good goalie.
Phenomenal
goalie.
goalie.
It's not like there were certain.
We left him hung out to dry hard.
Sure, yeah. Trevor Savage doing his best Corey and Perry impersonation, right? Maybe T.S. Yanmark, if you will. I think picked up a Gordie Howe hat trick.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, certainly room to improve.
Yeah.
I think the coaching will be fine moving forward, and Pete will be coming in for a hangout too soon as part of that.
I tell you, man, Matt, like, I couldn't believe it.
Well,
he played the part so well.
He did. And then
the speech.
So the speech. So quickly on the speech. We're in the dressing room. So we did one game, which was 2 periods of 18 minutes. They won that game 4-3. Very low scoring that first game. And then the second, so then we had like an intermission, and then we went back out and played 2 more 18-minute periods, and they won that game 10-7 with an empty netter. Anyway, between the two, there's a videographer there, and Dash from the heavy hockey team is like, hey, we want to get like a video of like the room getting fired up. And he's like, Dusty, you got a speech? I was like, nope. I walked out. Matt was talking outside. I grabbed him. I said, Matty, I said, the boys need a pump me up speech. So he comes in, quickly Googles the speech from Any Given Sunday
in full
and reads the entire thing. I didn't start recording it until about halfway through. My video went for 3 minutes. It just kept, he read the entire thing, and he was passionate about it. It was, I was very stunned. I've never seen Matt
he even starts.
take over.
I don't know what to say, really. Like, he goes in with that. He leaves the football parts in. And then he mentioned, too, he's looking. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around and see these young faces.
Yeah. He's like, I'm too old. We're like, my God. Probably could have modified the speech a little bit.
No, you got to leave it all.
So he finishes that speech,
you
and
gotta
he leaves
leave it
the
all.
room, and one of the guys in the room is like, man, if we were playing football, I'd be pretty fired up
Well,
right
then
now.
they go hang 7 on us, right? Like, it was a converted touchdown in the end, and that sunk the team.
Well, when he pulled up his phone, I thought he was going to do Herb Brooks' Miracle. I thought he was going to pull up the Miracle speech.
That would have been okay, I guess. Yeah.
Which would have been a little bit more fitting, but, I mean, he nailed the other one. It was great. But then when we're on the bench and we've given up 7, somebody's like, hey, we gave up a touchdown.
That's your football fix.
That makes sense. There is that the coach right now?
Coach?
That's good old Murray.
Oh.
Murray.
Could
have used him on the bench, I think, too, eh?
Working his way through. This delays the opening of the ranch a little bit today, doesn't it? It's all good. Get this water.
You like that moisture,
Get this moisture.
Yeah.
That's real nice. All right, let's get into 3 questions today. Sorry, we got carried away talking about the heavy.
How could we not?
Well, I mean, it was a great time. It was a
Given
great time.
the Oilers, crap the whatever during the weekend, that was a great weekend, coupled with the watch party Friday at Hudson's Bourbon Street, but then Saturday, Sunday into the game.
It was awesome.
5-star.
It was awesome, and shout out to any of our teammates. It was great to get to play with you. And it was nice to meet many of you.
Got to meet Visually Better off Twitter.
Yeah,
I
I suck at picking.
Yeah, I suck at picking. Yeah.
What a guy.
That was
I
weird.
always imagined I suck at picking as like this hilarious 24-year-old but like I suck at picking is very successful. He just also happens to be hilarious. So that was it was great to meet him. Glenn Maw came up from Calgary.
Everybody that traveled.
That was one of my favorite things after the clapper. And they dropped the gloves in the corner. Somebody had a slapper on an empty net. Everybody knew what was going to happen. And then we're all standing there in a little bit of a scrum, and I turn around, and Glenn Maw's got his gloves off. And they're way back out at the blue line, and he's got his gloves off, and he's looking at it. And Glenn's not a big guy compared to me. He comes up to, like, my boobs. And I'm like, I looked at him. I said, Glenn, really? Do you want to do this? And he's like, And then I looked at him. I said, go pick up your gloves, Glenn. And I skated all the way back to him. He picked up his gloves. But it was just a bunch of good guys.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And they raised a lot of money.
Yeah.
Mike and his heavy hockey team are great dudes, and we're happy to be partners with them, and we're looking forward to doing that again next year. All right, question number 1. It's been this type of morning. in the old Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Guys, is goaltending the Oilers' biggest need prior to the deadline? No. The answer is no. The answer is no.
But if you, in a fantasy world, this isn't real life here. But out of the 4 or 5 around the league that we've identified as the greats, right? The great today. I mean, you take that on your team. So yes, if there's no chance of you getting them. There's no deal to be made here. But in the spirit of the question, there are players up there that are an upgrade on Stuart Skinner. You're not going to do it. There's no way you can get it. But again, good, not great. And I'd rather have a great goaltender than a good goaltender leading him in the playoffs. Is that fair? Can I answer like that?
Yeah, you can
it's not
answer
gonna
like
happen.
that.
It's not going to.
We're living in a fantasy land.
Sure.
Stuart Skinner's their number one goaltender going into the playoffs.
Yes.
They have other things they probably need to address more urgently, more pressingly than Stuart. Look, man. 4 weeks ago, people were saying, man, if Stuart, what more does Stuart Skinner have to do to maybe get in the Vezina conversation by the end of the year? You know what I mean? Like, now all of a sudden, you have to trade for a goalie because the team started playing poorly defensively in front of him? Come on. I mean, go back and watch some of these recent games. Has Skinner been brilliant? No. I hated the Marchand goal against Boston. I mean, that was good. A couple of the screen ones against Boston, you're like, fight through it a little bit more. The game against Calgary, as Craig Button said today, like the Hunt goal, you just straight up like that, getting beat straight up, not ideal. Mm-hmm. But the team has had a lot of significant breakdowns in front of them. I mean, so no, I don't think the most pressing need prior to look, in a perfect world, you want to upgrade all the things you want. You want to get a top 6 forward. You want to get, two fourth line forwards. You want to get an upgrade on Cody Ceci, and everybody bumps down there and he becomes your 7. I get it. Everybody wants everything. Totally understandable. But I don't see it.
No, it's not happening. This is what you get, whether you like it or not.
Vegas Golden Knights last year won with a guy who wasn't even one of their first or second choices during the regular season. And he was phenomenal. But, they didn't have a juggernaut between the pipes. Like one of these guys are viewed as, he played well. Don't get me wrong. He played extremely well. But one of the guys who's viewed as, a top 6, top 7 guy in the league. Colorado won a Stanley Cup. Nothing against Darcy Kemper, but
no.
I mean, he's not one of those guys.
Nope.
So
it can be done.
Like I said, I don't think Skinner's been helping them win games lately, but I don't think he's the number one reason they've been losing games lately. So, yes, would you like to have a much better goaltender? Sure. Those guys aren't available. Now, some people point to UC Saros in like some sort of massive blockbuster deal, in which you would think this is why it's not necessarily. I mean, I guess you could just have Skinner back up a guy like UC Saros, but in a perfect world, like if you're going to get a UC Saros, the other team would like want a Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
But they got Askarov in the American League, who's going to be their like long-term guy, so it doesn't really necessarily work.
Ryan Rishaug, hey bud, link coming?
Question mark? Did you just send him a link, Trev?
Yeah, I sent him one earlier, and just another one.
Yeah. Does Rishaug still think you produce on the other side of the glass?
Just don't say anything about
I like
it.
I like the idea of Shoggy thinking that.
Keep it as it is. I like this.
Eric still does all that stuff. That's great. That's great. Yeah. All right, question number 2. Oh, boy, this is going to be a tough one to answer, considering they're both sitting right here. But you two, Trev or Zacticum, who had the better game yesterday?
Oh.
It was Zacticum. I felt way more. I think it all comes down to that.
You were beating yourself.
You were counting how many times you fell?
I felt like maybe 6 times.
And you fell 6 times yesterday?
All from like just like doing my crossovers. Like it wasn't like every time I'd get the puck, I'd be like, okay, like let's give it some gas. And as soon as I did, I was so annoyed. So I think I had 3 shots on net. I think I got 1 assist though, and I was only on the ice for 1 goal against. I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not bad. So Zach's saying,
but Zach had the puck a lot more than I did.
He got some good shots there, Zach. I think.
You guys each had a couple. Trev, you had that one. You made that nice move, got a shot off, didn't score because it was a muffin, but still, you got it on net.
It was a decent shot, but it was right in the center,
didn't you guys,
right in the chest.
Didn't you guys have a 2-on-1? I think Zacticum kept it and shot it. I was like, wow. But like our EST group, I don't know. Tommy didn't score. I got 1.
Not only one, Dusty. It was a beauty. Like what the heck?
Thanks, Trev.
You've been really humble about that. If I scored that, I wouldn't have shut up.
It was a pretty nice goal.
It was. You faked 2 guys out.
Yeah.
And then just a nice little backhand.
Yeah, I waited.
It was
I got
super
it on the
impressive.
first guy, then the other guy came over, and I put it around him, and then snuck it past. It was a nice goal. Thanks, Trev. Made me feel. I was playing D. I didn't get a chance to do much, so playing defense sucks, man. I don't even know if I should criticize defensemen in the National Hockey League anymore. Like, it just sucks. Playing defense sucks. It's no good. All right. 780-218-9999. Let's say they both made a similar impact on the game. Is that a fair assessment? You were on the bench.
Yes.
What do you think?
Similar impact.
Yeah. Okay. Similar impact on the game.
Steady eddies. One gets the plunger, the other gets the whatever it is. I don't know the.
All right. And question number 3, guys with iHeart now live this morning. What's the next way that we'll be able to consume the show?
We've been asked this question. I said VR. We need some artificial intelligence VR. I mean, we're getting texts and nasty chat. Discord. You got to sign up on Discord. Download a Discord. Buy a Discord. I still know what Discord is. I'll leave Discord on the shelf.
Yeah, but we're on Discord.
I don't know.
Yeah,
are we?
No, Jen,
Am I? I'm not.
Jen just texted in. We have a Discord.
Yes, but I need to get on it.
You need to get on it.
I don't know where do I buy a Discord?
Just quickly, Jen texts in this morning, says, would love for you guys all to be on the Discord. Maybe come by during the game tonight. It's a great place to chat when no one's on the air. If you can mention it on air, that would be awesome too. Dusty, you're a mod. I don't know what that means. And once all the members join, we'll be mods too, like all of our team. Would love to have a conversation about your feedback on it. Yeah, I'm still very new into the Discord. I don't really have a lot of time to do anything, but
well, you're a mod.
Trev, what about you on the Discord there?
Yeah, like I have Discord. Yeah. I got a few.
Our channel's pretty cool. It's got like all different categories for the shows and the D-Gen Den that we got on there for all the cool bit stuff. It's pretty good.
So it's another social media.
But you
website.
wanted some sort of virtual reality thing.
Well, for the show, yes, virtual reality. You can buy a virtual reality glasses from the EST shop for. I mean, figure out a price, right? Whatever it is, whatever we need to get there, and you wear it at home, and there you are, and it's like you're here. You can listen, you can see, you can taste and smell Edmonton Sports Talk.
Oh, that would be something else.
Get the other senses involved. Why not?
I think I want to skip over everything, and let's just start implanting chips in people's heads.
Isn't that already happening?
Well, no, because I want people to go like this. I want people to go like this. Oh, man, I want to listen to the Nielson Show this morning. Boop.
Yes.
And that's it.
I'll send you a conch right now.
Yeah.
And then you get in your head, right? Just sit around doing that.
That'd be pretty good. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. That's 3 questions too many for the great staff at Park Mazda. Let's do this right now. Let's do this right here. How about this?
Timberlake rocks.
Is that a mandate of yours?
God, what are we talking about here? Good question. Can some of it be about sport? Yeah. All he needs to do is just get in front of people and state his case. If they had the mandate from the people, blah, 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 I don't know where that information came from, but I would question it.
Time for the morning mandate with Ryan Rishaug.
This is what sports broadcasting is all about.
You know what? That may be a good point, Ryan. You broke the story, Ryan.
Rishaug is one giant 6'2" pile of Charmin.
It is a Monday morning. Got your back mandates with Ryan Rishaug. Visit gybpod.com/YEG or download the Got Bike podcast on all podcasting platforms. Shoggy, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Feels like forever.
Yeah, it has been a little while, for sure. You were gone, and then
no show last week, and I was gone, and then you were gone for a while.
That holiday and mixed in there and stuff like that. Yeah, we are not on Discord, FYI. If you're looking for us on Discord, I do not, unless we're there, and I don't know. I don't think.
Well, that's what happened with us. Yeah, somebody just made the Discord.
Now you're a mod.
So. Yeah, now I'm a mod all of a sudden. I'm gonna go in there and start banning people immediately.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty fun.
I'll be a mod of something. I'm gonna mod something.
You've got to be a mod. No,
I think you'd be a pretty good moderator if you had the time to do it, Shoggy.
I have a good sense of what's appropriate and what's not. I would agree with that. I think I do a good job of kind of keeping the temperature at a interesting but not over the top level. I would say I would be good at that.
Yeah, no, that's
you don't moderate in like a gaming thing, or I could see you as a mod, a top guy.
No, I mean, listen, I'm a bit of a leader in any group I'm in. I think People generally gravitate towards me because they know I've just got real strong sensibilities. And if anything ever gets really serious, they know that I'll be the first guy to step in and take care of business. I would say that my brothers and friends would all agree that that's the case with me. For sure.
The Janmark of the family, yeah.
The Matthias Janmark of the family.
They call you Matthias, yeah.
As long as nothing needs to be fixed, then I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Like when you guys play Settlers of Catan, are you a real stickler for the rules? Like do you call other people out and be like, this is how it has to be done?
I'm a bit of a renegade, bud. I'm a bit of a renegade.
Okay.
I'm always pushing the envelope on the trades, like what's allowed, what's not. I'm always coming up with different ideas. I'm coming up with different ways to screw people over. Kind of all over the place with it.
I didn't even know you can make trades in Settler of Catan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
now
a
you're
huge part of the
interested,
game. You're trading resources. You're trying to sucker people in. There's negotiations. There's alliances. Oh,
I'm finally intrigued. I'm finally intrigued by it. You should have told me years ago that you can make trades at this thing.
Well, come on over next weekend and we'll play straight
big Settlers of Catan thing. Oh, yeah, that's nice. All right, Ryan Rishaug is with us this morning. Rishaug, we gotta just unpack this loss to the Calgary Flames. What was the most concerning thing about that setback for the Oilers, do you think?
Well, the fact that they couldn't get up for the Battle of Alberta after they were focused on their starts because they never got up for the first period of the last game either. McDavid said it was one of their worst periods, that first period, the previous game, and then they come out completely flat. Can't complete a pass, can't take care of the puck, turning pucks over in the neutral zone. McDavid getting beat in a foot race to the net by Nazem Kadri. What? So, yeah, there was a whole bunch of really concerning stuff in that game. And sure, it got plucky and scrappy and they kind of scrapped their way back, whatever. They were chasing that game and there was no need to be. That's an Oilers team that is good enough and has shown they can play the game well enough to come out and take charge in a moment where there's no reason not to be up for it. And they flat out weren't. So that's the biggest concern for me. How do you not be ready for that?
Well, yeah, that's what we said. That's why we're like, tonight it's the Kings. Like, you're coming off a loss to the Flames. It's the Kings who are another major rival. You look at where they are in the standings. I mean, there would be no excuses. But at the same time, with the way that things have gone over the last 10 or 11 games, I don't know what to expect from them tonight against the Kings, right? Like, that's just where this team has kind of put themselves right now.
Yeah, so what they went through earlier on this season, I think, is going to start weighing on them at a certain point here because the roller coaster, and fans know this, right? It was so low at the start of the season and it was like, what the hell? How is that even possible? And I don't think the players had an answer. And I think they really got a good sense of just how tenuous success actually is. And then all of a sudden they go way the other way and they're winning games and just rattling off all these wins and one of the best in the league, right? And they're kind of like, hey, all right, we still know how to do this. And now it's going the other way. And it's been more bad than it's been good since the break. And you can't help but wonder if they feel it slipping through their fingers a little bit because they remember before. They were trying hard before, no answers. And so I think the stress of not wanting to go back down that path probably sets in a little bit on the group. I asked Skinner about that the other night. And I think this has been a tense group. I'm telling you, Dusty, there has been more yippity yapping and chirping and bench stuff, and the emotions and the frustrations are getting the better of this group. And I asked Chris Knobloch about it the other day. Leon Draisaitl's been one of the main perpetrators of this. You know, I think Draisaitl's personal standard for the amount of, frustration that he's been showing, I think it's dropped a little too far below where that standard should be. I mean, there were a couple of games ago, they were battling their way back into a game. They were down 4-1. And they scored to make it 4-2. And on Draisaitl's next shift, he didn't get a pass he wanted. He goes smashing his way through the gate and slamming the door. In that game the other night, they score they're out there on the power play trying to battle their way back into a game. And something happened during the power play and he got super angry. And then the whistle went and he kind of things got a little chirpy. And then they ended up scoring a goal. He goes straight to the bench and he's sitting on the bench. And I was watching him and he's fuming for like 4 minutes on the bench before his next shift, just fuming, right? So Draisaitl's frustration level, and then it boils over in that game the other night. Yeah. That wasn't a one-off. That penalty was not a one-off. That was a slow build through 2 or 3 games where Draisaitl's standards slipped too far. And hopefully that is a corrective moment because Connor McDavid just puts his head down and works and works and works and works and works when things aren't going well. And Leon Draisaitl needs to get back to more of that and let the frustration come out in a different way.
But so is that now, Saturday happens, he gets interviewed post-game, he says, yes, I take responsibility, and now we're just, it's all good, because I don't think this is, as you mentioned, you could see that building in the game, but this isn't something that we've not seen from Leon before. And then this goes to the question of leadership. And again, when times get down with this team, we mentioned earlier, heads go down, shoulders slump a bit, and maybe mostly for Leon, optically than McDavid. As you mentioned, Connor will go down and kind of get in the messy areas. But what is that the bottom out? Is that now getting embarrassed Saturday night? It's a rivalry game. The Flames, you guys, you're arguably on two different stratospheres in terms of talent. You should be up for it. You're not. Okay, we take responsibility, blah, 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 head back to it. You got a game tonight against a team that's pretty defensive. Maybe you lock it down. But I'm just wondering if that's not it, because we've seen it with leadership before. You've done the coaching change now. We've done that. You're not going to make another one. That honeymoon's all over with. So, is this just, this is what they are in terms of leadership? And when things get a little messy, they get pissy and then they have to work their way out of it?
That needs to be the moment. And listen, I'm not saying that Leon Draisaitl is the problem. That's not what I'm saying about what's been going wrong or anything like that. But Leon Draisaitl has as big an opportunity as anybody outside Connor McDavid to be the solution, right? His impact on a game, and we've seen it, when he just gets on the right side of things and puts his head down and just works and works and works. He draws penalties, he creates, he's all over the place, right? Draisaitl has a tendency, and he's got some emotion in his game, and you don't want him not to play with emotion. You want that from him. But sometimes it can go a little bit too far. My analysis is it's gone a little bit too far the last few games. He then takes a penalty that dramatically hurts his team, has to walk out in front of us and go, dumb, my bad, I own that. Probably allows for a bigger conversation internally about what's been going on, man, because it has been seriously tense. And the hope would be that Draisaitl takes that corrective measure. And what we see tonight, no matter what happens, is him just with his head down, chugging away, trying to find solutions in game rather than getting so frustrated. And if he does that, he is a massive part of the solution. So players get frustrated. We saw a video the other day of Austin Matthews yelling on the bench. We saw McDavid at the end of a game smash his stick. That's different. These things I'm talking about with Leon Draisaitl are when the Oilers are still in the game. They're fighting their way back into games, and they should be all pulling in the right direction. And he's kind of going the other way with the emotion a little bit. So that's what I mean when I say it's gotten a little away from him. I'm positive that he'll correct it. And he always shows up for the LA Kings. So I think it'd be a great game tonight. Look where they are in the standings, right? So we all know the history between these two teams.
Oh, big one.
Yeah. And I heard Draisaitl interviewed, I can't remember what it was, might have been on 32 Thoughts, about teams that he loves to beat, and LA was one of the first names that came out of his mouth. So I'm sure 29 will come to play tonight.
Well, it'll be a good spot to get back on track, that's for sure. We had Craig Button on earlier today, and he talked about how they've allowed 42 goals in their last 10 games. And obviously, in the nasty chat and on the inbox today, there's the discussion about the goaltending, how much of it's Skinner. And, Skinner has not been as good over the last 10, 11 games as he was prior to the All-Star break. But, Shaggy, there's a lot of real nice scoring chances being kind of put on a platter here by the Edmonton Oilers right now. So where do you come out on the defensive issues, and where does that need to get sorted out?
Yeah, so this group, these exact players have shown how good they can be defensively, right? It's in there. It's not like there needs to be some big savior dropped in. This group has shown that they can do it. So they've gotten away from it, and this is going to take some discipline. It's going to take some coaching. It's going to take some hard work, and Skinner's part of that too, right? Skinner's not where he needs to be right now, and he knows it. He needs to get to work. If it's a fatigue issue, they got to figure that out and rest him a little bit. But the answers are in that room. And with that said, there's probably still some help coming. So if you're looking for reasons for optimism, look at what they were able to do before. Know the answers are in there. They're probably going to get a little upgrade here. And so I don't know that this is hurtling in the wrong direction. And by the way, the Oilers pretty good second half team generally, right? They normally finish pretty strong. So it hasn't been good. Too many blown coverages, too many turnovers, not taking care of pucks. We're starting to see some of those bad pinches again. It's bleeding back into their game. So they definitely got to get it under control. But as far as, which team are they truly? They're somewhere in the middle. They're not as bad as they started. They're not as good as that run. They're probably somewhere in the middle, and the Oiler fan hope would be it's a little further on the really good side than dead in the middle of that.
Do you think it's tough to really tell with the goaltending? I know Gage, you're pretty adamant that he thinks Skinner's been letting in some tired goals. He thinks he's kind of mentally fatigued right now. Do you agree with the assessment? And I guess the only answer would be to play Calvin Pickard more. And are you okay with that for this club right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll defer to Gager's read on a goalie's body language, right? He's been in there, he's played the position, he knows what to look for, so I'll defer to him. Struddy's been saying all year that he feels they're missing opportunities to start Pickard and give Skinner rest, and that it's cumulative over the course of a season. You got to look for opportunities to give a guy a rest on pace for 60 plus starts, which might be a little bit much for him. So yeah, I'm definitely open to the idea that there's some fatigue happening. They've got some back-to-backs coming. Their schedule's really tightening up. They're playing a ton of games. The good news is that Pickard's playing fairly well, so you might as well take those opportunities to get him in there. But to the trade question, you guys, I mean, and people talk about it constantly. I believe as of right now, there's no intention of making any moves on the goaltending front. That the Edmonton Oilers are going to go as far as Stuart Skinner takes them. Now, barring something significant happening between now and the trade deadline on the goaltending front, that's where it's like Jack Campbell style, the bottom falling out. I believe they're going to run with Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard, and we'll see whether Campbell gets back into the mix or not. My sense is it's going to be either a legitimate top six right winger, right? If you find someone that absolutely goes on that line with Draisaitl and stays there.
That's it. That's
if it's not that player. If it's not that player, they'll get a center instead. What I don't believe they're going to do is go get a tweener on the wing, right? Anthony Duclair. Is he a second line winger? Is he a third line winger? We're not sure. No use going and getting, because now you're just adding another player to a list of 4 or 5 already that may or may not work in that spot that you already have. If you don't get the exact guy you need, then get the center instead. And now he's a guy that can also work his way up onto that line if you want. So either a top six right winger or a third line center. Maybe they'll have room to squeeze a fourth line center too. We'll see. And I think they're going to put someone ahead of Philip Broberg on the depth chart. And I think that's about all you can expect.
So that would be a veteran defenseman that's still your number 7, or is it a guy that you would view as an upgrade on Desharnais or something along those lines?
No, I mean, whether he would be viewed as an upgrade on Desharnais
just
or
a
not,
different option than Desharnais type of thing?
I don't think they feel the need to drop someone in front of Desharnais in the lineup so that he's not an everyday guy. I don't think that's what's in their head. I think they want somebody in case of injury, and I think they would prefer a guy that shoots right, because in a pinch they could use Broberg if a left guy gets injured, and maybe a guy with a bit of experience playing both sides. So experienced guy, right shot, can play either side ideally, but I believe the 6 you're seeing, there's a very good chance that's the 6 they roll into next year. Like, let me ask you this. Everybody's asking about Tanev, Dusty.
Yeah.
Right? Tanev, right? Swap out CC, swap in Tanev, right? What's your top 4 on the blue line next year if you do that? Because now you're in free agency looking for a right shot top 4 defenseman, and you have no money.
It would have to come via free agency, and you're right. I mean, how much are they going to have to spend on that position?
And you know what you would absolutely love? Like a $3.25 million, pretty decent shutdown guy that does. Cody Ceci is what you're going to be looking for in free agency next year, and you're not getting him at the dollar that he's at right now. So I understand people wanting that upgrade in this moment, but Ken Holland's responsibility is also to say, what position does this leave us in next year? How much of an upgrade actually is it? And do we reduce our chances next season as well? And I think that needs to be factored in that discussion.
It's an interesting discussion that you bring up here, Shoggy, because from the forward perspective, you mentioned, like that legitimate top 6 winger that's locked in there. It's not like, a bad game, Fogle will slide up there, McLeod will slide up there. Are they fully okay with that just being the rental? Or do you think they track down like some sort of Ekholm deal out of nowhere for a guy that can be around for 2 or 3 years?
I don't think they want to move their first for a rental. Right? I don't think they have interest in doing that. And, maybe at the end of the day they'll have to, but I'm pretty sure every phone call Ken Holland makes right now on any decent player, and it's like a first round pick is the first thing that's wanted, or maybe a second round pick. Right. So I think that, it better be a dynamite player and a hell of a perfect fit. Adam Henrique, and I know he's been talked about a fair amount. I could see him kind of being a pretty good fit in the standpoint that he can play center, right? Can naturally play there. I talked to one of his old coaches about his ability to play right, and he kind of said, of the 3 forward positions, that'd be the third one that he'd be most comfortable in, right? Either left side, center. Could he play right in a pinch? Yeah. But to me, if they don't find that perfect top six winger, I think Adam Henrique could be a really good fit for them. He can kill penalties. He's got tons of experience. I think there's a good fit there. And so, we'll kind of keep an eye on that one. I think that's an interesting name.
Shoggy, next got your backdrops tonight after the game?
Yeah, we'll do a post-game podcast tonight and then another one on Wednesday. So, yeah, we'll do 4 a week. We've gone the last 3 nights in a row, and we'll do another 4 this week. So, yeah, and Brownie's been joining us for lots of them, so it's been tons of fun.
Yeah, no, Brown's a great addition, man. That's for sure. No doubt about that.
He's fantastic.
All right, buddy.
Him and Strebs are like polar opposites, man. You talk about how you feel bad for defensemen.
Yeah.
You should try having one on your show every day. It's painful. He's all about the defense, and it's always the forward's fault, and it's always never trust a forward, and blah blah blah. So Brownie is like the great counterweight to Struds.
It's like Gager with the goalies. Right, Gager doesn't want to play the goalies very often, so yeah. All right, Shoggy. Well, we'll catch up to you next Monday, bud.
Yeah, great to see you guys. I missed you guys.
Hey, man, thanks, man. We missed you too. I was like, man, when are we going to talk to Rishaug?
It's been a long time.
I know.
And it's great, man. It's good. Yeah. There you go. That's Ryan Rishaug and the Got Your Back Monday morning mandate. Check it out, gybpod.com/YEG, and seriously, Got Your Back Pod on all podcasting platforms. Oilers and Kings tonight. And I always find it weird to have game day Mondays. I don't know. I just always feel, give me the Tuesday, Thursdays.
Oh, you're in January mode, are you still? With your cushy little Tuesday, Thursday, then maybe a weekend game whenever you want, and then back to Tuesday. No. We are in now. This is a stretch.
Hit Tales of the North earlier in the show. If you're watching on YouTube, you can just wind it back. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, which you can now do, or on TuneIn, or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, everything we do here is also podcasted out. So you can go and snag that. Check it out a little bit later on with Tales of the North. I'm sure Zach can maybe grab that Tales of the North, throw it up on a video on Twitter at Edmonton Sports Talk Twitter account as well. Let's get into your Orange and Blue Breakfast here, buddy. Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. Tonight, the Orange and Blue Breakfast brought to you by Mobile One and Blue Water Lubricants. The Blue Water Group, founded in 1974, Canada's largest, this is big, the largest in the country. Can you believe it? Canada's largest independent distributor of mobile branded lubricants. They want to thank everyone for 50 great years. Mobile One. If you want your vehicle to run, get it done with Mobile One and the Blue Water Group. All right, let's get into it. Projected lineups for tonight's game. We'll see where the Oilers come out on this after the loss to Calgary. I mean, Chris Knobloch, I almost called him Jay Woodcroft because he's been mixing up the lines a little bit right now. He's me at Save On Foods in the late 90s in produce, juggling. Just juggling oranges, juggling apples.
Cantaloupes, if you will.
Juggling those weird little pink fruits with the points on them that really hurt. You're like,
Permissions.
Is that what it was?
Or whatever it is.
Yeah. Star
fruit?
fruit?
The pomegranate, star fruit. Same
both,
thing. Yeah, they're all very dangerous.
Same thing. The last time we saw them, McDavid, Hyman, Fogle, Draisaitl, Perry Nuge, McLeod, Matthias Janmark, Evander Kane, Derek Ryan, Dylan Holloway, Connor Brown. I wonder if based on last, is Knobloch putting these lines together just based on last game? Like, does Holloway get a bump? Because he tried hard against Calgary. Like, is that something that happens? Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Ceci, Kulak, and Desharnais on the back end. As for the Los Angeles Kings, Anze Kopitar, a.k.a. Ye Old Sunken Eyes from Tales of the North, Adrian Kempe and Lafreniere. Philip Deneau with Fiala and Trevor Moore. Pierre-Luc Dubois with Kaliev and Byfield. Lizotte with Trevor Lewis and Jarrett Anderson-Dolan. Gavrikov and Doughty. Brant Clark, the young kid, with Matt Roy. And then Englund and Jordan Spence on the Kings' back end. As for a list of guys who aren't tough enough to play hockey tonight, what do we got?
For the visiting Kings, Mikey Anderson listed as day-to-day. You also have Victor Arvidsson and Carl Grundstrom on the IR with Phoenix Copley. And for the Edmonton Oilers, as it has kind of been, unless you're subscribing to the illness, sickness flying around the room, nobody listed this morning on the IR or day-to-day. But they could be sick, but they could not be, but they might be. So it's okay because they're sick.
Play through it. Play through it. And you're paid millions of dollars.
Hey.
I mean, unless there's a full-blown flu going around the room, I get it. The flu's awful.
If it's coming out both ways, you get out there and.
I mean, if it's a head cold, I feel like you can find a way.
Well, they have.
Or maybe it's nothing.
Look, being a trainer on a bench, I know what you can.
You know what it's
I know
like
the
there,
magic that you can do in the back room there. I mean, we got stuff for that, right?
Guys, I question several of the Oilers' D-men's ability to react quickly enough in their own end. Opponents are ramping up intensity towards the end of the season. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, you'll start to see that ramp up even more towards the postseason.
The CC thing with Ryan was quite interesting as well, as Zedmo kind of says, win now or win next year, and somebody agreeing with him on the CC affordability and the contract and everything going forward. I found that kind of
CC around next year.
Yeah, well, and we all talk about a window.
Well, that's what I say. I mean, if
And
you want to
this year and
upgrade,
this year
if
and
you
this
want to
year, but-
upgrade your D-man, make CC your 7 or your 6, and then you got Desharnais and CC coming in and out of your line. That's legitimate defensive depth.
I saw that was an interesting point. I didn't mean to get away from the game.
No. What's your key to a victory tonight? What do you got?
Well, and if you are sick, no, I don't want to get into that again. Lay down some sort of a, get out and make a statement, and not if your name is Matthias Janmark. I mean, if your name is Matthias, that's fine too. I want everybody laying down a statement. And
You want to see it a little bit nasty early against the Kings,
and I think this morning too, when we joked about there's mornings when we come in here and say Matthias Janmark has a piss to drop. What does he do? He doesn't, so I get it. But these aren't the guys leading the charge, nor should they be. So you expect some sort of statement early on, somebody really take it to them. I know, again, this is a team, the Kings, built to beat the Oilers. They've been going through some issues this season as well, but a great rivalry. I think one that's even more heated than the Flames and the Oilers right now, present day. So maybe the Oilers, again, given what happened Saturday night, if that's not the bottom, what is? Tonight, make a statement. First 5 minutes, I don't care. And I would
or
like
at least
to see,
play 55 minutes.
60, 50. I'll take 55. I'll take 50 at this point. But
you want 60? I'll give you 55. They'll give you 55.
2.5, 2 3/4 periods. I don't care. But yeah, get it together. Show a little bit of urgency right now because I just took a look again at the schedule heading, the prior final 2 games of this homestand leading into the month of March, which is, again, no time for air or breathing, and into April, too, which kind of finishes off with a lot of tougher teams records-wise. So get going, get in the playoff mindset now. They went on that win streak. That was fine. You had to get back to where you were, but come out tonight, make a statement, make it early. And please play up 50. I'll take 50 minutes.
Let's go to the game day prediction.
A goal.
I keep saying McDavid's going to score all the time.
You're going to hit one of these.
I know, but that's lame-o.
You're chasing red on the roulette board.
I mean, I can't just sit here every single time and say Connor McDavid's going to score. And then when he does, you're like, oh, I called it. That's the worst I called it of all time.
I'd say he's not going to score.
Picking McDavid to score a goal after he hasn't scored in 9 games and being like, I told you. Like, I'm a hockey expert. Like,
pick him not to score when he does. We can all tweet at you and call you an idiot.
I'm going to say, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to say Stuart Skinner, should he get the start, will be one of the 3 stars tonight. I'm going to show some faith in Stewie Skins here and say Stuart Skinner, if he gets the start tonight, is one of the 3 stars. There's going to be a problem. People may be coming after me tomorrow, but I'm going to try to throw it out there. John T. in Victoria says, I'm so frustrated with trade talk. The problem is between their ears, which means it's a leadership and coaching issue, not a lineup issue. Right? This lineup, which I think was worse without Corey Perry, won 16 in a row.
So we've done the coaching change.
They just got to do like a little reset here on defending first and defending well, and they have not done that in quite some time.
It's the All-Star break. The Oilers would have won the cup if it wasn't for that wretched All-Star break.
And Hyman didn't even get to play in it. This is ridiculous.
Well, that's kind of the, yeah.
The Orange and Blue Breakfast brought to you by Mobile One and Blue Water Lubricants. Blue Water Group, founded in 1974. Still going strong today. Are you kidding me? 50 years. They're thanking you. 50 for them. 1. Mobile One for you. Let's get into the wrap for William Huff. We got a hangout coming up here. Should be a good one. Tommy Gazzola won't be on the hangout today. Tommy Gazzola has pre and post tonight. He will be on the oil stream a little bit later on. Plus, Tommy's car is never going to get around on these roads. Never going to get around on these roads. It's just not going to happen. The wrap is for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, boom, right here. And it feels smooth, too. You could rub your naked body up against this, and you'd be like, wow, this is smooth wrap.
Where the wrap is a clothing.
That's what I would say.
A sarong, if you will.
100%.
EST sarongs.
They've been doing it since 1972. Visit them, www.williamhuff.com if you want your place to look as good as ours. Get it done at William Huff. What'd you learn on the show today, buddy?
He's back.
Ryan Rishaug?
No. Oh, got your back. I get it there. No, Rasheed Bailey. Toronto Argonauts bringing him on.
Argos.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
I love Rasheed Bailey.
He is.
Damn, how did I
Screwed
not
me
see
over
this? When did this
multiple
break?
times in the Dunya, but this was about an hour ago. Boatman bringing him on. We have signed wide receiver Rasheed Bailey an hour ago from the Argonauts Twitter account. They say, welcome Rasheed Bailey and pull together, as that is the Argo, row, pull. They're on the big boat,
together,
So Rasheed Bailey will be getting an oar. He'll be in the big boat, and he'll be an Argonaut heading into the 2024 campaign. Do I move now that he's not a Bomber? Do I go back to him? He was always a guy that I just would. You'd drop him, you'd pick him up. He was a great waiver wire guy, but he'd always perform when he was on the wire, not on my roster.
Larger elevated role.
Huge headache
in Toronto, maybe.
Yeah.
He was always kind of like the fourth option and then fifth option.
But I found
when you
a
look at the
good
running backs too.
should have been better than a.
Yeah, no, I love Rasheed Bailey.
Numbers game there.
He had 9 touchdowns 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, Rasheed Bailey's legit.
Sometimes.
Good. I'm glad he got a gig.
Yeah.
That's good. He's a good receiver still. And he's not old by any stretch of the imagination. He's just been around for a bit. And what do we learn about Alphonso Davies?
Well, Fonzie is he's had some health issues. It looks like he's training again, running. He'll be training with the team, I think, this week. Should be ready to go for their second leg against Lazio. That's in the Champions League next week.
You always want to be there for the second leg against Lazio.
Well, you got to perform in the big stages here, but there is some news out of the Athletic report that, and I mean, this has kind of been coming down the chute. Lots of trouble at Bayern in terms of the front office coaching. They're kind of at the end of a line. They might be doing something new. So when you're in the prime of your career and a club like Real Madrid comes a-calling, and they're bringing in guys like Jude Bellingham and Kylian Mbappe probably. Alphonso Davies will either join Real Madrid either in this summer, next summer, whenever the contract gets done. Verbal agreement in place, apparently. And it's about time. This is the jump you make. He'll be joining a roster full of, I told you, Galacticos. This is like the second, third coming. He's going to be part of some really great teams moving forward if he does make this move to Real Madrid. And it's going to be very interesting to watch him, the Edmontonian on Real Madrid.
And that's your soccer report brought to you by FIFA 23.
Yes.
I
was told there's a spot on it on the Discord as well.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's soccer talk in the Discord.
Maybe I could mod that.
I don't even technically know how to share the link to our Discord.
I don't even know
figure
what it
that
is.
out. But we do have a Discord. Maybe go on Discord and just search Edmonton Sports Talk. It probably pops up somewhere. I mean,
it reminds me of cryptocurrency.
It's pretty weird to have a. You can't do that on Discord?
What?
You need invite link for the Discord. You
What is it? A room full of servers humming? That's what I kind of see it as, one of those big rooms.
Yeah, I like that. You know what I learned on the show today? That we are now on iHeartRadio.
Heart you.
Download the app. You can go and listen to iHeartRadio.com.
Heart of Oil
click on
Country.
Edmonton Sports Talk, and you're good to go. It's another new way to consume the show, and part of a partnership that we got going on where I'm going to be on the Bear every single morning with Yuka McCord. The Bear's actually advertising on our station as well.
Iwanic will be calling into Jess's Drive show randomly.
Yeah, that's right. Opens up the door to me with some of the boys on the hangout here as we work our way into the future as well, which is good. It's real nice. It's just it's this. I mean, when we first started with just the audio stream at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, we're like, oh man, we'd love to be on TuneIn and iHeart. And 6 months later, we're on TuneIn and iHeart. So
it's good to have options.
A big step there.
Full palette.
Let's get to your sound of the day today.
Oh, are you doing it? The Pete Weber anniversary? Is it? You're gonna play
the anniversary today?
Apparently, it's. Somebody tweeted
stoked and sassy.
Well, and do it. I mean, do it while I pull up the anniversary here.
Well, here, let's. I want to do this.
So stoked! Like, I don't even like. Winter's here. You know, this is the first time we've been up. I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just
I'm stoked.
so stoked.
Yes.
I mean, it came down last night, what, a good 5 inches?
Last night, I think so. Something like that, and a couple feet the day before.
And you got a 5-foot base with 5 inches of freshie on top.
And of course, when you're stoked, there's only one thing to do if you can't get up to the freshie. It's to stay at home.
A weekend wave of snow will mean less people on the slick roads. We'll probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
God, I love that lady.
12 years ago today, Peter Weber, winning the U.S. Open with a strike, capping it with the immortal words, "Who do you think you are? I am."
What?
12 years.
Give me a second. I got to find. I must have the clip.
I'm watching it on repeat right now. Great form. What a delivery. The English on that ball. Holy hell. And the pants.
I don't know if this is it. No, this isn't. What's this?
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to.
Ron Burgundy. That's a fun one. Let me see. Let me look for. Let me see. Let me search Weber.
The shades. His haircut. I mean, he was.
Here we are. I do have it on the selection from Weber Full. Maybe this is it.
Weber Full.
I don't know. Let's try this one. Let's see.
Another 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am! Get it right!
Too good.
And wasn't it a kid that was chirping him?
Yeah, it was like a kid. He was going after a kid. What a legend this guy. All right, let's get into your text of the day today for A&W. They got the spicy Piri Piri Buddy Burgers. They're rolling out there right now. $3.99 each. Each burger features the new spicy Piri Piri sauce. I don't think I've ever had Piri Piri sauce in my life till I had this burger. And I have to tell you.
Welcome to the club.
It's a spicy Piri Piri.
Yeah.
Leaf lettuce, sliced tomato, onion, all served with your choice of chicken patty, beef patty, hash brown patty. Tell your buddies about the new spicy Piri Piri Buddies. They're just $3.99. Zip through the drive-thru. They're here. Limited time only at A&W. We're talking about things that Rishaug can moderate. Bobby LaFrench. Bobby LaFrench is going to win text of the day today. Rishaug moderates the Fork and Wings channel. Banned for using fingers. It's civilized. That's a good one. Bobby LaFrench, congratulations, buddy. You won a gift certificate to A&W. And a very nice Rishaug text there.
Vive la Quebec.
It's nice to catch up with Rishaug again. We haven't talked to the guy in forever. It was a lot of fun. What are you watching tonight, buddy?
Oilers Kings will dominate the menu this evening. It's one of 4 games around the NHL tonight. You also have a pick of the Washington Capitals at home to Ottawa, the Dallas Stars hosting the Islanders, and the Boston Bruins continuing their Western Coast swing. The late one out in Seattle against the Kraken. Other than that, Raptors as well. They're taking on Halliburton and the Pacers tonight. I think it's a pretty quiet night in the NBA. Just 4 games on that schedule, too. And then the Premier League this afternoon, Dusty, wait for it. Brentford and West Ham, an old London derby for you.
Good. Big Brentford guy.
Wrapping up match day 26 of 38.
They always had a low budget.
You love the Bees,
They had a low budget to start on FIFA.
But they got some pretty good players. Like if you want to take the low budget good player.
I got to find more times to get back into video games again.
You sure do.
God, there's too much going on here.
Maybe you'll find the time on the Discord.
I'd like to get on the Discord, too. Maybe I'll try to pop by the chat on the Discord tonight. That'd be a lot of fun. So at the beginning of the show, we introduced the intro.
Yes.
Excuse me. We got a new video intro that Trev put together for all of the shows here on Edmonton Sports Talk. But he also put together extras. Outros? What do you call them? These extras? Outros?
I always called them outros, but Maddie says extra, so
yeah, I say extras
I'll probably
too.
do what Maddie says.
Yeah, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to hit that as we head out here. Hangout's coming up right away. If you're on YouTube, turn on autoplay. It'll take you right over
got an intro too.
to the Hangout today. Everything's coming together nicely around here. Real fancy boys. Evans the Sports Talk, the fancy boys.
We heart you.
Yeah. We do. For YouTube, Trev and Lieutenant Eric, I am Dustin Nielson. Thank you very much. Enjoy the game tonight. Tommy will have that pregame show coming up at 6 o'clock right here and only here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We'll be breaking it down tomorrow morning. I'll be back with Lock Shop and Oil Stream coming up at 11 and noon today. Hangout is on the way next. Have a great day. Take it easy.